And welcome to the Mazu, everybody. Hi, it's Star Trek Adventures on your Tuesday night. What else would you do on a Tuesday night other than hang out with us and do Star Trek Event? Nothing? Right, exactly. This is where you need to be. Hi, everybody. How you doing? It is Tuesday. We've got a lot of stuff happening right now, y'all. I don't want to take too long on these intros because I think there might be some drama. I don't know. Is there? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. First things first, to get introductions out of the way, in case you didn't know, my name is Mark. I'll be the GM for today. Hello.
Every day.
It's not a temporary position.
Over here to my left at the top of the screen, we've got Barrett, Cindy, and Angie. And over here to my right on the bottom of the screen, we've got Jordan, Kate, and Lauren. Hey, there's the crew of the Mazu. Fun times. Let's see. A few things. If you like the stream, take a second right now and share it with all your friends and family and enemies and anybody. Just share it. Just go out there and just say, just watch the show. Just watch it. Just do it.
Do you like good things? Here.
It's a good thing. If you're here live on Twitch, make sure that you follow. If you really like it, go ahead and subscribe. We can use those subs here on Twitch, so do that. That would be great. If you're watching the archive on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and subscribe on YouTube as well. If you really like it, there are things you can do to support. We've got stores and shops for merch where you can buy t-shirts and stuff like that. There's also a Patreon at patreon.com/Heroes of Awesome, where you can support all of our role-playing stuff, whether it's Star Trek Adventures or Dungeons & Dragons or whatever we end up doing. We did Vampire the Masquerade a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It was
fun.
Can we do a Buffy one?
I caught the very beginning of it.
Yes!
I want to be Buffy.
I want to be Buffy.
Everybody wants
to be Buffy.
I'll stay
You're going to be Anya.
It just depends if we're doing it after season 3 or not.
I'm good with being Anya. I like Anya.
Anya was awesome.
I actually, now that I'm actually watching the series for the first time ever, I have found that I actually really like Cordelia for some reason.
No, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's okay, yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
I would have hated her if I'd watched it at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I would have absolutely hated her. But I just,
She's also gotten into Angel as well now.
No, I had to get into Angel because she left Buffy and went to Angel. I'm literally watching
But how
Angel.
far are you through Buffy right now?
To happen.
She's in college.
She's in college. Season
You're
6.
like season 5 now, right?
No, season 4.
Wonderful
Season
journey.
four?
No, and she's in
But
college.
she's at least into season 5.
Oh my God,
I think
you're
I'm
right,
into season
yeah.
5 now, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
She's
I
finished
just
season
started
4.
5.
And she's out of college.
I know, I'm so jealous that you get to experience this
She
for
didn't
the
graduate,
first
she
time,
dropped
because
out.
it's
true.
I met Carissa
Spoilers.
Carpenter. She's very nice.
So here she's lovely.
Yeah, she's super nice. She had no reason to be nice to me, and she was.
Wasn't she a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader? So Texas?
She was a cheerleader.
Oh,
Yes.
Texas just wants to claim her. This Texas
I mean-
just wants
She like Angie. Angie would like to claim
She's
Charisma
mine.
Carpenter.
She's mine. Charisma Carpenter.
to. Well, I'm ahead. All right.
We all know
okay.
that. Anyways, maybe we'll do a Buffy thing someday.
Yeah.
Who knows? It'll be fun.
I'll be Willow.
We got a Willow. We've got 5 Buffys. I mean, what else do you need?
I could be Xander
No,
again.
we have one Buffy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have one.
I was always more of a Faith girl.
The Faith is kind of awesome. Let's be honest. She's okay. We could have an entire show to talk about Buffy, but we have things to talk about right now. Before we get into that, everybody's got a lot of projects. Anybody got any projects you want to pimp out real quick? Hey, what do you do on Wednesdays?
Wednesday, my wife, who is a semi-famous voice actor, plays games on Twitch, the channel you're watching, the website you're watching right now, twitch.tv/Jen Brown Plays, to watch Jen Brown play a game that you get to choose once I put the poll up and you vote on it, which will be later. Sorry.
Would Jen Brown Plays ever want to play Overwatch with me on Wednesday nights?
Probably not. She hates multiplayer.
Darn.
Maybe we could figure. If it was you, yeah.
Because I always stream Overwatch on Wednesday nights.
We should cross over.
We should
Could
do a
you
crossover.
We should do a
make it an
crossover.
option to vote and then have a campaign
To
vote it in?
in Overwatch.
I'll just make it all Overwatch.
What's your name?
Just make it different people on Overwatch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, which
Different
Oh my
players.
god, that's actually
that's
hilarious.
rough.
Well, and she's met some of those voice actors too, so
I'm sure,
she could play as them.
that'll be fun.
Do you mind if I cover a couple other things?
Rock and roll.
So I was watching the stream, and it looked like I was really focusing on my tablet. I was, but I wasn't. For years, I've been role-playing I draw while I'm listening, and it's not like I'm not paying attention. It just appears like I'm not paying attention, but I am very aware of what's going on. So just know that this is how I role play. I draw while things are happening.
They're actually really good.
They're really good.
drawings.
You should show us.
I'm getting there.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
He's had to relearn because he's drawing on the tablet now instead of in the notebook.
Right, but I drew a Titan, a fake Titan from Attack on Titan, and it came out great. The other thing is I had hernia surgery last week, so if I get up and leave, there are reasons why you don't need to know.
You don't even know.
Sure,
but
take the mic
I'm
off.
feeling good. Yes,
Yeah, take the mic off.
I will. I mean, it's on the table.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is my mic got cut off halfway through last week, or early on this week. So hopefully we won't bump into this, but if it cuts out, let us know in the stream, in the chat.
Yeah,
Say,
something.
hey, can't hear Barrett, because how I sound right now should be great. And if it all of a sudden sounds like this,
It's not
then
Bradley's
maybe-
fault.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm working on it. We've been
No, I
trying to
know.
pull up the money to get a new one. Hey, have you seen our Patreon? Patreon.com/Heroes of Awesome.
Yeah. Help us out.
Are the shirts still available even if they aren't super sale?
I will let some people order them because the order has been delayed submitted, so I've got time. It's not going to be the pre-sale price. It's going to be the full price of $24. But if you want anomalies, I don't have the. Oh, no, I do. Ignore that price. $24. Go to heroesofawesome.com/shop.
No discount for you.
No discount for you.
Is it?
But anywho's, anybody else? Anything else?
Oh, speaking of the chat room, if you see me comment in there, it might be Kate.
It's probably
She does
Kate.
that sometimes.
She-
Yeah.
Also, if it looks like I'm not paying attention, I might not be paying attention.
Valid.
That's really true. There is a lot of let's just say there's fighting words in the chat right now, so you should
Yeah,
probably just
I almost
ignore
don't-
I'm
it.
about, is that what you said that? Because I am about to respond.
No, it was just last week. I was-
Why? Why, Sinful Siren?
Why would you do that to us right now? We're
Explain
trying to
What
play
did you just threw it just right in?
like a
And
grenade.
Molotov cocktail.
You're allowed to have your opinions.
No, you're not.
That is an invalid opinion. Now I will say though, I loved Elijah Dushku in Bring It On. I'm just saying.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah,
That movie's really funny.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Love that movie.
Shouldn't be as funny as it is hilarious.
It's so great. Oh man,
Bring It
it's
On?
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super
It's
fun.
like a great movie. Hey, Star Trek. Hi.
Bring it on, Star Trek.
The cross.
Whatever she's saying now is not necessarily.
So we got a lot going on. Our CMO Cade has thoughts about what's going on. Let's take a listen to CMO Cade's, I'm having trouble talking, his log from last week.
Chief Medical Officer's log. Lieutenant Commander Walter Neumann is not himself. And I don't mean that in a figurative or existential sense. While he is still physically identical to the man we have known and served with, according to every scan at a basic cellular and genetic level, he is transformed into something else entirely. He no longer registers as Walter Neumann. He no longer registers as even human. Our pursuit of the Arista 3 survivors led us to a world called Hearth, inhabited by a civilization of the same name. After allowing the Benzite survivor Mindel access to their sacred ancestral hall known as the Kindred, he betrayed them and attempted to cut through the exotic stone structure with some kind of laser. So they naturally viewed us with initial suspicion. But Newman's famed diplomatic skills earned us their trust and access to the Kindred, where we discovered it was adorned with symbols identical to ones tattooed on Newman's body. The symbol meaning loss, in particular, caused his corresponding tattoo intense discomfort until the two were brought into contact, opening a secret chamber where an ancient and alien technology, powered by a dark crystal, began to question Newman, alluding to the Norse mythology he had been raised on. When his answers proved unsatisfactory, the chamber door slammed shut. The crystal began to glow brighter and spark as our own technology was rendered inert, and Neumann began to writhe in increasing pain that I could do nothing to alleviate. Lieutenant Commander Morganth and I managed to jar the crystal loose, depowering both it and the chamber, and got the doors open to allow our escape. We immediately beamed back to the Mazu sick bay, a quarantine field sealing the three of us in, under Captain Raul's orders, until we can better identify and understand Newman's condition. I've done my best to stabilize him and placed him in stasis until I can figure out how to treat him, if it even is still him in there. I know Morganth would rather be on the bridge, but honestly, I'm grateful to have her here, as her own medical training may prove invaluable. And if he should prove a threat, well, I'll be even more grateful for her other areas of expertise. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Commander Azotiat reports that she has encountered a similar technology in Crystal in the past. A fragment of the latter in her rock collection nearly pulled the Mazu down to the planet until it was beamed out into space, while the ship's power was drained by the same effect that killed our devices. 2 crew members with past ties to an alien technology that has also drawn the interest of the people we are pursuing. Given the devastation caused by their space quake, I shudder to think what the Arista 3 might do if they got their hands on that technology. But I also wonder. I've been questioning whether this crew was designed to fail or discover the keys to the truth behind our mission. I never considered, what if we are the keys? Cade, out.
All right, we he's flying the ship there.
We're back.
She's flying the ship.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I fly the ship.
That's how you fly the ship.
Yeah.
Was like,
Yeah. Low ride.
He's put on like a little
It's the 2
mascara.
nacelles in the back.
What kind of bobblehead you got on?
so we are in the sick bay. We're in sick bay.
in the
There's
sick bay
a
now.
quarantine field up that has Neumann, Morganth, and Cade in quarantine, and you have put Neumann in stasis.
Yes.
What's next?
Well, first of all, I would like to verify, since we know on the smallest level that he does not resemble himself. I'd like to start at the largest level and kind of work down. So visually, if there are any physical changes.
Looks like Neumann.
Okay. Then I want to check his systems, his nervous system, circulatory. Everything is working. His organs haven't started melding into one Pangea organ or anything.
Tell you what.
Cloaca.
We're going to kind of do a thing. So this is something that someone in our comments has been asking for a lot. So we might do it, but I want to start it in case we end up going that direction. I want to treat it like we're going to do a scientific method thing on this.
Sure.
First step of that is going to be the observation. Normally that's difficulty 0, but in this case I want a difficulty 1.
Okay.
And you'll do a scan, but you'll use reason and medicine.
Okay.
Difficulty 1. And if you'd like, you can use a ship assist as well.
Okay.
Would you like a ship assist?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll
Always
take
take a
that.
ship assist.
And can I have ship assist and crew assist, or
No.
is it one or the other? Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of ship assist do I roll for?
Can you be like the computer voice on the Mazu from now on? Just like that.
Oh, you wanted to
I'm
sound like
Mazu.
this? Little shy, perhaps country girl?
How about sensors and medicine?
All right, sensors and medicine.
Difficulty 1.
Success.
Are we? Yeah, what happened?
We roll a 20 right off the bat.
And a 19.
Well, the ship got a success.
Good job, Mazu.
You're very welcome.
Well, except
But-
the success
We
doesn't
have-
count if
Right,
the
something
assistance doesn't help unless the leader.
well,
I
she
don't
tried her
believe
very
that.
best.
I just don't believe that
I don't
rule.
believe that.
So here's the
Also,
rules.
no. I just think that some of these y'all made up.
I swear I didn't. I have read so much more of this rule book than any other rule book for any other game
the whole
I've ever
rule book
played.
was made up by someone. So you're not
True.
Someone
wrong.
did make up.
Someone
That's
did
true,
make
yeah.
up
Somebody made
all
up the
of
But
it.
they did make up those things for a reason.
Your scan. What you got out of this? Neumann has extremely high cortisol levels just coursing through his body. His kidney and liver functions are way through the roof.
But are they still there?
Are they still livers and
Are
kidneys?
they-
There are livers and kidneys.
Yeah.
There are livers and kidney there. His temperature right now is 106.
Woo!
One thing you are noticing is that you are seeing evidence that the rate of cellular division and cellular death is just also through the roof.
Okay. And is stasis doing anything to?
Stasis has brought it all down, so it's like managed. It's
Okay.
like not really progressing, but you're able to get this before you put it in there
Right.
with scans and everything. So yeah.
is there, I mean, just, I can't, it's going to take a while to figure out the cause. Is there anything I can do to at least treat the symptoms, bring those levels down?
I mean, you
normalize his
You can
endocrine
drug him up
levels?
to try to get the temperature down. You can try to get the cortisol levels down. These are all things you can try to do.
Yes, I would like to do that to try and at least keep him normalized, try and get him even more stable, and at least see how he reacts, because at the very least we get diagnostic information off
Okay.
of the way he responds to things.
What of those symptoms would you like to address?
The first one I think would have to be the fever,
Fever?
because if he's boiling from the inside, then the other stuff is kind of moot.
Okay.
So
Let's do a control and medicine check.
okay.
Difficulty 2.
And can I get either ship or crew assist on this one?
I'll let you get a ship assist on that.
Okay.
Since we're in medicine.
Control and medicine. That's fine for me. Okay, that's one success.
His temperature just is staying up there. It is still elevated. You have applied the medication to him that should bring it down, but whatever it is, his body is just not reacting to it.
Okay, I'd like to, if I can't bring it down chemically or medically, I'd like to kind of at least surround him with like whatever the future equivalent of like ice packs
Sure. Yeah.
or whatever we would normally, like an ice bath kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Just to help keep it, just to help regulate it. For, you
Still
know.
ice pack.
Yeah, I mean,
Like all those
I don't know if there's like
It's
some
built
like
into the bed.
All future technology.
some 0
It's
point
built into
cold.
the bed in sick bay.
Yeah, it's probably that
Okay.
gel stuff, and it just cycles through tubes.
Yeah, there's like a
the
cold
idea that
field
it's like
that
the
he
same
gets
thing
right,
that's
yeah.
in my freezer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
It's that foil they wrap
Yeah.
people in TNG.
So you'll be able to get you'll be able to get some physical ice around him basically and
Okay.
kind of cool it down like that. And you will see the body temperature start to drop, but he's fighting it. His body is really, whatever it is, it's going to want to
In which case, I'd like to try and let's say liver and kidneys. Let's see if we can get those working. Say working better.
So
but
their
let's-
functions are through the roof. It means they're working really hard.
Okay, so we need to.
Tell him to chill out.
Sounds like it's a toxin, so we should probably put him on a juice fast.
Please be more
What is
giving
your-
character saying that.
What's your medicine score? You should be higher than
It's
that.
very high.
It's very high.
It's
and I'm
very
really
high
sorry.
and very alternative.
Super holistic.
It just needs water.
So you want to try to what exactly?
I guess regulate that. Well, what is so what it like?
Filtration system is your livers and kidneys.
Yes.
Means something's in your system and it's trying to get it out.
And what is since I don't know a lot of medical things, what is the increased cortisol levels? What does that tell me?
It's a stress hormone.
Okay, all right. Would it help him to be less stressed if I brought those down? Like, would it put less stress on his system?
I mean, potentially, but I don't think you're going to see, medically speaking, a reduction in cortisol isn't necessarily going to improve kidney and liver function.
Sure. No, I was just moving on since I was like, well, I don't want to necessarily. If they're working overtime, that means that they're
Sure.
doing what they're
cortisol levels
supposed
are
to do.
symptomatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cortisol is a response to the stress his body
Yeah,
is under.
I'm just,
Right.
but it's also putting his body under greater stress, under physical chemical stress.
I will say,
when
I
your
think what we're
adrenaline
dealing with
levels
at this point, we can just kind of nip a little of this in the
Sure.
bud right now. I don't think what you've gotten you've gotten the symptoms.
Yes.
But addressing the symptoms isn't really going to affect.
No, I know. I'm just trying to until I can figure something out. I want to I'm trying. It's amelioratory care.
Sure.
More than it's palliative.
I don't think there's anything you're going to be able to do other than
Okay.
bring his temperature down at this point.
Cool. Then I would like to run the cellular and genetic scans we have for him.
Okay.
Though we know that they are not identical to his own, they're not registering as human. I'd like to run them through a
like that might be a part of
Starbase,
What's that?
the Starfleet databank, basically, and see if they bear any similarities or markers to structures that we are familiar with. So that I can start narrowing down exactly what was done to him and what he's maybe turning into.
Okay. Give me reason medicine difficulty 1.
Okay.
Keep assist.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Someone assist me.
Yeah, we'll do a ship assist.
Well, because I'm using the ship's computers. So
Yeah.
Sensors
Yeah,
and
let's do
medicine.
it. Yeah, let's do that.
I swear to God.
Success.
Sorry, apparently we have 2 failures over there.
And a complication.
Do you need some other dice?
Oh wait, no, it's 4.
like, he
'Cause when I
Did hit his fist
Yes.
and it changed it.
I did. No, I have 2 successes.
And
And
I
you know.
just rolled 2 successes.
And yet no.
Crew
But
assist.
thanks.
But can that be considered a crew assist? When we bang our fists on the table.
Putatively, no. Okay, sorry.
I think Cade needs to take a nap.
The
Me?
You know, Cade.
Okay.
He's tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
getting cranky.
Needs a snack.
So, there's a lot in Starfleet records, and it's going to take you a significant amount of time to really scour through everything. Even with ship assist, with all the species and disorders and diseases known throughout Starfleet, it's not going to be something you're going to be able to find quickly.
Okay.
Is there anything I could do to help?
How would you help?
Wake up, be okay.
Just like get your
No?
Self-heal.
Just like give a stern talking to your liver and kidney.
Yeah. Kick myself
Since
in the butt and say,
we
"Get
are
better."
in the quarantine as well, I'd like to at least run a scan on us and see if anything
Yeah, sure,
is,
sure, sure.
if we've been affected in any way.
This is just going to be you doing reason and medicine.
Okay.
Difficulty 0.
There wasn't anything wrong before, but now. So that's 1 success.
Hey, give yourself a moment.
So I got a moment.
Yay.
Yay.
We did it. Game over.
Whatever seems to be affecting Neumann does not seem to have any effect on you two.
Okay. Do we have, before I go back into my corner of shame, do we have any records on Hearth genetic and cellular structure?
You would probably be able to get that fairly easily.
Okay. I'd like to have some kind of profile of that to
Sure. You
compare.
can grab that.
Yeah, I know that I ran a comparison between the 2 of them while we were down there, but it was sort of cut short by my tricorder dying.
That happens.
So,
Dampening
Like you
field.
do in a dampening field.
It happens.
you know. Cool. So I'm out of ideas and am failing at everything, so I'm just going to...
Maybe contact the captain.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, coming over comms and Captain Rawl.
Report.
We are trying to pinpoint the problem with Neumann's everything. We're not having much success at this point. I can say Morganth and I appear to be unaffected by whatever is doing things to him. I'm sorry to be vague at this point, but it's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Does Rawl even know? Did you even tell Rawl what was going on, or did you just say emergency transport?
I said, well, we had at the end that I said that I had taken the readings and been like, he's not Newman, he's
I
not
just wasn't
human.
sure if Rawl
kind
was
of
involved
thing.
in that. But okay.
That's
All right.
super fair.
I
It's
thought
basically
that was like
the last that we saw was the transport block with the quarantine warning.
And then there was
we
an
decided to
override.
let it through.
Yeah, but also I think we did just establish that there has been a bit of information transfer.
Yeah, you're right,
Because
you're right.
according to the log, we've got some of what they've been
I mean-
going on.
Yeah,
so I
you're right.
think it's fair to say that she's been.
I know
fair,
what
that's fair.
I would have wanted immediately after that would have been basically an information dump from Morganth as soon as she was on board, even though she's in quarantine.
All right. Well, then you've given her the information. Continue.
All right. If you're good to give Morganth clear from quarantine, I'm good with her being released. But please continue to do everything you can to assist Commander Neumann. Bring in the rest of your medical crew and team to brainstorm and solve if need be. Let us know if you need additional help.
Absolutely. Thank you, Captain.
But keep working at it.
Is there
Absolutely. I'm not giving up until I figure out what this is and
Good man.
how to help him.
is there any sign of any sort of energy coming off of Newman that might affect the ship if we take down the quarantine field?
I can check for that real quick. Looking for any residual energy fields like the one we encountered.
Let's do reason and science.
Okay.
Ship?
Sure, same thing. Sensory medicine.
Okay.
Both
Success.
I failed both rolls. Yeah.
You might want to start buying some extra dice. Just saying. You're not seeing anything.
I'm currently not seeing anything, but this energy is like nothing we've seen before. If the Lieutenant Commander Zotiad wants to take a look and see if it's similar to what she's encountered, I'm more than happy to have as many heads on this one because I'm honestly baffled at this point.
Can I do an internal sensor
To try to get on him? Or?
med bay and just see what I'm seeing in there? A sick bay?
Yeah, I'll let you redo that. Sure, why not? Let's do reason and engineering, ship assist on sensors and
Let
Let her
engineering.
be smarter than me.
Or
Reason and engineering, you
Sensors
said?
and, yes, reason and engineering for you. Ship assist on sensors and, what am I looking at? Engineering.
All right. Success.
Wow. All right, well, get yourself some momentum on that stuff.
What was the difficulty?
0.
Ooh, we got
Load that up.
5.
This is
Well,
all
we're
of
a
sudden
little
gonna be an
lopsided with
even
our
thing.
rolls today. Let's see.
How'd that go, Captain?
I just got 2 crits.
Wow, nice.
It's amazing.
So the energy scans, you're not getting any type of abnormal energy coming from sick bay. Yeah, ship's got pretty good sensors though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we got.
It's our
We
highest
upgraded.
thing.
That's what we got.
We upgraded, remember?
That's right. I forgot
Well,
about
we
that.
technically upgraded before the stream started, but yes.
Yes.
I mean-
We upgraded again.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything that looks familiar, but I mean, the sensors are sensitive enough so that you're seeing that there's a metric ton of electrical activity coming from Newman's body. His body's just lit up.
Ugh.
But no sign of it
Nothing that
coming
you're,
out.
no.
Okay.
Well, it appears to be electrical activity off the chart, so maybe that'll help you get a lead, Cade, on a fix for Commander Neumann.
Maybe. Thank you. I appreciate that.
In that case, I think it's probably safe to let Morganth out of the quarantine, but I would recommend putting the field back up.
Yep, I've already given the okay for Morganth to leave quarantine, as long as she's not needed there, but agree on the field.
Morganth, are you free now?
I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Report
Okay.
to the bridge.
Okay. Yes,
Report.
Captain.
Let's stay on the bridge. What's going on now? What are you guys going to do up there?
Let's see. We are going to, so we're dealing with Neumann, but assuming he's in good hands with Cade there.
Can I tell you the things that I'm concerned about?
Absolutely.
All right, there are a few things. One, I believe that dampening field probably just hit a large portion of the planet, if not all of it, and I think it would be a good idea to check in with them and see if they're okay and need assistance. Secondly, there was a fragment of that crystal that we just beamed off the ship, and it started heading for the planet at high velocity, and I think it would be a good idea to get that back before it goes punching through something on the planet.
That seems urgent.
And I did keep sensors on that when we transported it out, so I should be able to track it.
Great.
And then the rest of it basically has to do with trying to figure out what that thing was, what it did to Neumann, and if it's safe to leave there with them. Because I have seen this before on a mission very early in my career on Stelladon 5. And it was,
On Stelladon
anyway,
Farm.
Stelladon something. I think it was 4.
May I
It was
add
4,
one
you're
thing
right.
to your list
yeah.
too?
What?
Can I add one thing to your list?
Yes.
Is also we should let them on the planet. I'm sure they are the heightened security since obviously Shaw had gone there to get this thing but wasn't able to get inside the door. Which
It was Mendel that went, but yes.
Oh, Mendel. Okay, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
now open.
They should know that though because their person came out with Cade and Morganth. But yes, you still had a thought.
Yeah, yeah. Just make sure they're on. If they need support from us,
Yes.
to keep that.
I strongly
we
suspect
can
that
be
they're
on
going
alert
to
here for
need-
any ships that are coming nearby. That
Yes. So basically, Stelladon 4 was a planet with a civilization completely in ruins. It was all ancient history. There was no one living there. We stumbled upon a similar sort of dampening field, and it started to drain power from the ship. We were able to basically break the system on planet side, by disrupting it, but it was very old, it was very damaged. We didn't have the full picture like what they saw. What they saw was completely intact. But Starfleet did dismantle what was left of the device for safety purposes because any ship going through the system could have triggered it again. So I'm concerned that the people of Hearth may now have a piece of technology far beyond anything they can control.
Of course.
And I know that it will be a delicate diplomatic situation to get them to agree to that, especially if Starfleet decides they want to take that technology as well.
Starfleet will have no jurisdiction to take that in any way, shape, or form.
The crystal fragment, you mean?
Oh, they've got a full crystal down there.
Yeah.
No,
The fragment joined to create the full crystal.
no, the fragment just was being pulled towards it.
Got it.
That was the fragment was from Stelladon.
Okay.
It was just a similar piece of crystal,
All right.
but apparently was being pulled in by the field. I had no idea that there was any possibility that there were more of these out there. I've followed up on some of the scientific research about the technology itself, but not on what they've learned from the ruins themselves. So it's possible that some comparison research may be in order to figure out where this came from and
Okay.
if there are more of these out there, which is
On
sort
the
of
planet
beyond our
itself or
current
just
scope.
wide space, you mean?
Oh, out in space, because Stelladon is nowhere near here, right?
Nowhere near here.
Nowhere near.
Other side of the Alpha Quadrant.
Okay. Well, it would be great to get some readings to at least have some long-term data that we can use for that. But
Yes.
we do have a mission that we need to continue as well. Agree that the most urgent thing is to get in touch with the people of Hearth and see if they need any assistance or...
Well, the assumption is that given that this is an ancient piece of technology with great power, that Mendel was trying to get to it. And so this may in fact be pertinent to our mission, because if there are more of these out there, it's possible he may try another location.
Yes,
But also it would just be good to know what he was trying to get at and what they were planning to do with it.
agree. Okay. Open a channel to the planet on Hearth.
Gogia comes on screen. Captain, may I help you?
Yes, how is everybody doing on the planet?
We are recovering. There's been some pretty severe disruptions within the planet itself. We are recovering. Apparently, the field that went up has gone down again. We are bringing power back up as we can across the planet side. But you all have clearly shaken us.
Of course, we are not pleased in playing any part in disrupting your planet and the people of your planet. In part because of that, we would love to offer any assistance that you may need, especially in getting your field back up or in patrolling to make sure that in the absence of the field that you remain protected. We do have a request, and we understand that this is a very sensitive time for you, but the crystal is consistent with some records that we have for an ancient technology that could prove pertinent to work that we're doing here in a way that we want to make sure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. We understand that Mendel had been trying to, that some of the previous damage to your Great Hall possibly was due to the fact that somebody was trying to get their hands on this technology. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Is there any assistance that we can give you?
I appreciate your concern and I appreciate your offer, Captain. We have brought our planetary defenses at full alert because of this event. While we may not be as strong as a starship, we do hope that we can at least discourage anyone from doing that. As far as the crystal itself, our scientific teams are en route to investigate immediately. We will be taking lead on that investigation to try and understand what is happening. You say that you have information of a similar structure somewhere else?
Through records on our database and some Starfleet records as well, it sounds like, of course, you should be taking lead on this. Perhaps by combining our efforts and our resources, we can get to some solutions and some answers more quickly. Would you be amenable to such a team?
I will have to address the other ranking members. There is a lot of anxiousness, as you could well expect at this point, but I will bring it up to them and come back with an answer.
Certainly.
I do appreciate the offer.
Thank you. Thank you for considering our request.
Thank you, and we will be in touch soon.
Understood.
Go out.
Shouldn't even ask about Walter, and that's cold.
Well, it's like,
Seriously.
She's in charge of an entire planet.
yeah, and they've been through a lot, and hopefully we can bring that up as something that, it was a development. It was a violent and, surprising development, especially since they bore the brunt of it. But it was a development nonetheless that would not have been possible without our assistance. So I may not be the kind of diplomat that Commander Neumann is, but still got a few tricks.
I was not saying that in character.
It's okay, I did.
She was.
She was.
I heard it. We have a bond now.
Oh, that's right.
I just got a feeling.
You just had a feeling.
Morgan
like she
is
could
not
almost-
having it.
She could almost hear your thoughts.
Fine, I would like to roll to sever a bond. Pretty fucking oh, sorry.
It's one time. It wasn't
I'm not into this.
That's unfortunate.
I know.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Hey, Captain Rawl, what's next?
Let's see. So we've asked them,
Can I go fishing for my fragment?
please, ASAP.
I am deeply concerned about that fragment.
How would you like to go fishing for that fragment?
Well, hopefully, when I said I was keeping track of it, that means that I was able to keep a sensor tail on it. I mean, it should be following a pretty straight trajectory.
Pretty straight trajectory. From when you put it out there, it was going to have a certain amount of energy going forward at that point. So even if you didn't have a lock on it, you could probably predict where it's going.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure we're at there with control and science, and you can do a ship assist as well with sensors and science.
Control and science. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 0.
Oh, sweet.
The ship did it.
But I didn't.
Unfortunate. There's been a lot of unfortunate rolls here on our leads.
I need it back.
Oh no, it's so unfortunate.
I have so much momentum sitting there that I
Can you
don't
buy
know.
an
Well, you
extra?
could have bought
That's
a
not
thing.
something we can.
You gotta buy it ahead of time, I think.
You gotta buy it
Yeah.
ahead of
Don't
time.
have to buy it.
Gotta buy it ahead of time.
It's difficulty 0.
No.
Look, and I set them down, and they're
Criticals, I'm sure. Of
The
course.
whole thing, yeah.
Because of the power drain, the sensors lost lock on the crystal. I'm not saying you're not gonna be able to find it, but it's a lot of space out
Can
there.
I do a sensor sweep along the trajectory?
You can do a sensor sweep along the
What if
trajectory.
we pump up the power?
Keep going, Captain.
I want to do.
Keep going, Captain.
Okay, yeah. So we can possibly increase the power on that.
What I mean is we
Can I?
had a,
Can I do anything to juice the sensors? Because I mean, basically, the sensor sweep is looking for the thing to lock onto.
Well, you were justified, and I'll let you know if you can do it. So figure out a way to tell me how you're gonna do it, and we'll see what we can do.
Basically, I want to actually use a computer assist to calculate the trajectory, and then that's going to add to, like, basically to help pinpoint the.
do some number crunching.
Do some number
yeah.
crunching.
Do some number crunching.
Yeah.
Basically, give me a corridor that I can search more thoroughly.
Do a sensor sweep. Difficulty is going to be 3. Sensor sweep is going to be reason and science. Ship assist, sensors and science. Like I said, difficulty 3. So if you're going to spend it,
Spend it now.
Yep, I'm spending it.
you
Okay.
just want to spend 1.
Yeah.
Takes 2 to get a second die.
Whole mess of that. Yep.
Yeah. We have a
I'm
lot.
just saying,
Get
we've
it,
had a lot
get
of
it.
fails so
Yeah.
far.
Okay,
Figure
what
out what
you
that
just
thing
say?
is.
You just said it and I forgot it already.
Reason and science,
Reason and science.
with a ship assist of what did I say? Sensors and science.
Yep. Fail.
Wow, that's amazing.
What?
I needed 14. I got 15, 16, 18, and a 20, and she got an 18.
Wow.
That's
Time
amazing.
for some
Yeah.
bad rolls.
Can I at
Wow.
least buy away? We can still buy away the.
You can get rid of the
crit.
complication.
I'm gonna get rid of that complication.
Yeah. Spend that momentum to get rid of the complication.
And that's 1 or 2.
just 1.
Just 1.
I think it's no. Can't remember. Hold on. We're just gonna say it's one right now. Look it up later.
That's stupid.
Yeah, we've been fudging the rules pretty bad for a while.
Siren person on chat is policing us, so we're trying to follow them.
Ouch.
They have no
right.
authority here.
Yeah, and
Sorry, bud.
yeah, and he just said ouch in the chat.
He did say ouch.
But
So
we could use determination to re-roll if it fits a value.
do you have a value that would fit?
The ship doesn't. Does
No. But does Izzy? But does Izzy?
What does Izzy?
What are your values, Izzy? What do you value?
Oh wait, those aren't values.
what
That's
do
my talents. I was just
what do
thinking
you
that the
believe in?
constantly
What do you
watching
believe in?
talent was hilarious. Anything is possible with the right tool.
Oh, yeah, that fits.
Oh, that super fits.
I'm gonna turn off your mic.
Thank you, Sinful.
Does it fit? If you try a different tool, what's the other tool you'll try?
I'm looking for a piece of rockets flying through space.
Right, and the sensors are basically just kind of reading
You're gonna coma.
space stuff,
I
right?
know, I just have a thought that might occur to an engineer for a different tool.
Are we
Okay,
allowed?
I'll let you do it. Sure.
Is that right? Yeah, I mean, we have all these shuttles and runabouts that have sensor arrays that might be able to help triangulate.
It's like rolling a
locations.
different set of dice.
Oh yeah, triangulating.
Oh, man, we have
Do
a
you, want me to,
pilot.
do you want me to go take
Yeah, we got a pilot.
Yeah, we got all
runabout?
these pilots.
Do you want to
hasn't-
go on a little scavenger hunt?
Hasn't failed at
Sure.
anything yet today.
Today,
Unless all those shuttles are going to come in.
Is that what you want to do? You want to try to
have
kind of
fun
like
with
put a
an
sensor net
extracurricular
out there and
activity.
find that fragment?
Yeah, sure.
That sounds like fun.
Let's do
Go and
that.
find a
Tapping into
fragment.
that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Let's do it.
Can
Okay.
we also try on the ship to maybe like come at it from like an acoustical harmonic vibration frequency thing?
You would need something. Well, you would probably need to know what it's resonating at, unless you're able to force it to resonate at a certain frequency. So if you can make
Would I
it
know that
resonate-
based on the data that I had from before?
Let's find out. Give me a roll. Reason and engineering.
You can do it, I
All
believe
my
you.
dice.
Reason and engineering difficulty 1.
It's just a thought.
Oh no!
No. At no point in your research have you really noticed any of the harmonic frequencies coming off of anything.
It was 220s, y'all. That was rude.
Yeah, there's two complications.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go on a field trip. Feel really cooped up here. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like to go with?
No.
Yeah, we're triangulating.
There's actually a lot of other things that are really important. That one's just like the most time sensitive.
Okay.
But like also we've got to
Alright.
deal with ship's power
Right.
and
So
all of
let's
that.
get you on a shuttle out there and
Okay.
see if you can find everything. Which shuttle are you going to take?
It's gonna be the best one for this. It's probably gonna be the.
If she takes the runabout, she could
Runabout, right?
conceivably transport it herself.
Yes.
Well, the Ochoa has the highest sensor.
Yeah, that's
Roll.
the Ochoa.
Yeah, let's do that.
That one's the best at everything. Because it's the
Ochoa.
runabout.
The show's not a runabout, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is?
It is a runabout.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
Or a roundabout.
Oh,
Or a
Doing so
roustabout.
well.
I know. That was
maybe that's my
intentional.
next T-shirt.
Or a
It's got
runaround.
Anyway, yeah. So take the Ochoa out. We'll get you out there. Let's see. How do I want to do that?
Yeah,
Let's.
I'm like very good at these rolls though.
You'll be fine. Let's get out there, and first thing first, let's do a control and con check, just for
Okay.
piloting out into their planetary defense systems. Difficulty 0, but I just want to see where you're at.
Okay, that's 2.
2 successes, fabulous. So give 2 momentum back.
Thank you.
All right, and what I'll let you do on this thing is for the sensor sweep, since you're trying to do this, I will let you use a ship assist from both the Ochoa and the Mazu, because the Mazu sensors will be assisting with that as well.
Okay.
So let's
Do you
do
wanna
a
roll
ship
for one
assist
of
with the
No, roll for the
Mazu.
Ochoa.
Okay.
Both of them will be sensors and science for both the ship assists. And for you, let's do reason and science.
Wait, what was the ship one?
Sensors and science.
That's good. Should I buy an extra dice on this?
If you like.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Difficulty is going to be 2.
All right, and you getting 2 assists, but
Yeah.
and you
Okay.
have 3 dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
3 successes.
Success
For-
from the Mazu.
And
No,
1
3.
success.
So So 5 total successes.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's a game of chance.
So you have found that crystal. It has placed itself in a very low orbit at this point. Its velocity was at such points so it got caught in the orbit of the planet itself, and you would be able to grab that via tractor beam or transport or whatever you'd like to do.
I guess I'll do
It should be
tractor
Angie's
beam.
necklace.
Oh yeah. You're gonna do what?
Tractor beam it.
Tractor beam? Okay. That is a thing. You go ahead and grab it with the tractor beam. It's not going to be hard to do. Give me a control and security check. I say not
I
going
was
to be
like,
hard.
and
What's
I'm
that?
assuming, is it going on the ship because I put some kind of, or am I just towing it behind me?
I mean, if you're tractor beaming it, you're towing it behind you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
So to
Yeah.
get that, it's
Good
going to be
call.
a difficulty 2 control and security, and let's do a ship assist of structure and security just with the Ochoa. Might want to pass some
Oh, sorry. What was it?
Structure and security.
Structure and
for
security
Ochoa.
for
Difficulty
Structure and
2?
security for the Ochoa.
difficulty 2. You might want to buy some dice.
Yeah, I'm going to buy.
You got a
a
lot of
die.
momentum over there.
Should I buy more than?
Yeah, we have a bunch.
Burn
Get
it
2.
up.
Get an extra
Do I
dice.
just borrow?
To buy the second dice is
I
2
did.
more.
I took 3.
No, but well.
It's
That's
blocked.
right.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh,
You got
that's
it.
119. 3 successes.
4 successes, I think.
What was it? Structure and security?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 1.
Cool. So 4 successes total.
Yeah.
Maxing
Bring
it
2
out.
back. That's the way to roll with it. You're able to
Movement.
capture that little fragment of crystal in a tractor beam and pilot it back to the Mazu.
And it's actually perfect that she's bringing it back and tractoring it on a shuttle because I wanted to put it in a stasis field in the shuttle bay so that if something goes wrong, I just basically let go and it can,
Okay.
Just spurt
All right.
out
yeah, basically we open the door and let it fly out.
back to the planet where it can cause havoc.
Or at least not
Punch a
punch a
hole.
hole in the hull of the ship, which is what it was going to do before.
Yeah.
Like it was
So-
basically going to punch a hole starting in my quarters and drill out.
Yep, I think that's fair. Do we even want to, keep it on the ship? Is there a way to have it kind of just safely towing behind us and do
That's what basically putting it in the shuttle bay is
the happy medium?
yeah, that's so
Alright.
it's on the ship. I can get to it easily to research it, but
Okay.
we can
And I'll
we
just-
can kick it out real
I'll
easy.
just clip the Ocha. So if you open that, it won't go anywhere.
Lock down the ship so it doesn't go flying out.
Yeah.
Carabiner on it.
Yeah, it's fine. That's all it takes, right? Just a little carabiner on there.
I put the
Got all
parking
this
brake on.
high-tech
What?
warp gravitational field technology. Clip.
Okay, so you have the crystal in a stasis field on the shuttle bay. Let's check back in. Morganth, what are you doing? You just hanging out on the bridge?
Sure.
Okay. Back at sick bay.
I would like to. I have a couple of things I want to try now. First, let me go ahead and do just while I'm also downloading all the genetic stuff from everything else. Let me get like a deep dive, whatever the computer can get on Norse mythology, particularly the beliefs of his sect.
Okay.
Just anything, and like scanning through, see if there's anything in the myths or legends that would like correspond with what's happening to him, what's going on, anything like that, just to have it going in the background.
Okay.
Just to see if there's I'm going just full kitchen sink on this. Just to see
You could also bring other people in, like the rest of the crew in, and have like a discussion on things to do as well.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of comparative research that I've got in mind.
Cool. That's and one of the things that I want to do is very much along those lines. The next thing that I want to do is I'd like to do a full analysis of his tattoos. Not necessarily the symbols themselves, although yes, for sure that. So we have like a database to
Oh, that was
draw
the thing
from.
I wanted to know.
Go full blind spot on it, and but I also want to do an actual like physical analysis of the composition of like the ink.
Yep.
And what it's based, spectrographic, all that kind of stuff. See if what kind of minerals are in
Okay.
it, and
Okay, give me reason and medicine.
Okay.
Difficulty 1.
okay. And let me go ahead and buy a die.
Just 1?
Difficulty 1. Yeah, Let's go ahead and I'll buy a second one.
Yeah. You got it?
Let me have one of Lauren's.
No, take 2 more. He's buying 2.
That's a good one.
He's buying 2.
Oh, he's buying 2?
Yeah. Just to be.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
It's fair.
I mean,
We're a little
yeah.
die shy right now.
Some kind of trickster is messing with my die rolls right now. So.
Could it be?
Okay. Cool. So that's let's would either emergency medicine or I guess only emergency medicine would apply to this as a focus.
I wouldn't apply that now.
Okay. Xenobiology, just from looking at his.
Not looking at tattoos, no.
Okay. Okay. This is the first time that I've managed to roll underneath my discipline, and I can't use my focuses. But I do have. You said reason and medicine, or
Yes.
okay, so it's 14. Okay,
Rewind
so
your Twitch stream.
Yeah, what did I say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
2.
so well, I have 4 successes.
No, I'm just saying you have 2
Yeah,
that are count. I mean, they don't.
these 2 would count if I could use one of my
Yeah,
focuses,
yeah.
but I can't use any of my focuses. So
How many successes do you have?
I have 4 total successes.
Okay.
Eek.
Load that back up.
What was the difficulty?
Difficulty
Was 1.
1, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta remember this because I'm keeping track of a lot of stuff too. Okay.
Yeah, so I get the 3 back, and I also just
Okay, so looking at the tattoos, you do notice that while it's not unusual for metal salts to be included in tattoo inks, especially old school tattoo inks, these look a little different than what you would expect to see.
Okay. And I'd like to confer both with Izzy and on her past experience, both with the crystal and with the other technology. And if we can do, I don't know if we're cooperating with them or not, any kind of scan of the hall and the chamber and any kind of
We
the
took a lot of
minerals.
pictures.
That's right. We do.
Did
Well,
that
I didn't
data
know
make
if
it back?
I didn't know if when
Everything
my
is made it
sure.
back and it's charged, right?
Yeah. Everything's
Okay.
back.
And all the
Yep.
data that we took is still intact?
Still there.
Okay. I wasn't sure if when it died, it just all went away. Okay, cool. Then I definitely want to run a comparison against the scans we took in there.
Comparison of what? Okay.
What we found, the what you were just telling me about in the tattoos in comparison to
The
any of
material in the
the
hall.
mineral geological findings that we had both in the Kindred and any of the findings that we had with the crystal.
So you're trying to see if there are minerals in the Kindred that are present in the tattoo ink.
Basically, yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Burn momentum for more information.
Yeah.
There are no minerals that are unique to the Kindred space that appear to be in his tattoos.
Yeah, what about the crystal? Can I burn another momentum for that, or is it the same? Is it?
Were you able to get a reading on that crystal?
Well,
You should have
I'm
a.
hoping that we have some reading off of your
But
crystal.
you guys
Yeah.
haven't
I'm assuming-
coordinated yet. So right
Yeah,
now
that's what I'm saying. Is
So
like
basically,
that's
yes.
what.
So I would be suggesting.
So do we need to
that
like?
Okay, hold on. We will bring you guys together and you can have this discussion. But right now, you guys
Okay.
are in 2 different places not doing stuff. If you want more information, you can burn one more. I'll give you one more information on the tattoos.
Yes. Let me go ahead and do that, just so I,
Okay. All
because
right.
I need everything I can get at this point.
The metal salts in there are very similar to a silver oxide compound.
Okay. Would I know anything in particular about that as a doctor that would give me
You would
any
know
kind of-
that it's a metal salt. It looks a little different than what you'd expect. You know the properties of silver. You know that silver is highly conductive, for what it's worth. You know that it's not unusual for metal salts to be included within tattoo inks. That's what you would know.
Okay. In that case, I would like to hail Izzy and confer with her.
Have a conversation.
Lieutenant Commander Zotiat, Izzy.
Doc, just the
My
person I
friend.
was wanting to speak to. I would love to know everything that you know about Commander Neumann's situation and compare it to my notes from Celadon.
Fantastic. If you want to come and talk to me through this quarantine field.
Let's do that.
I'm uploading all of my records and data into the main computer, so we should be able to.
Though, in the interest of due diligence, can I say that I've got my engineering team working on restoring power?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And then I've got the rest of the medical team just handling anything that might.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head down to sickbay if that's okay.
Sure. Can we
Cool.
get one of your engineering team to work on the power juice backup?
Yeah. So
The
basically,
official term.
I've got Delaran
Perfect.
leading that charge. Also, if the Hearth callback, we should definitely just give them everything we have that's public knowledge on Stelladon.
Agree.
Cool. So basically, on the way down there, I am pulling up my research, whatever is officially on Starfleet records, and I'm also taking note of where there's discrepancies there, if there's anything that Starfleet records doesn't currently have
Right.
listed, because I suspected that would probably end up classified.
Okay.
Because that was a very powerful piece of technology. that
Sure,
could
sure.
potentially be used.
I'm gonna have a suggestion real quick.
Yeah.
Since there's a lot of stuff going on, why don't we just have a senior staff in the sick bay?
Cool.
So just everybody get down there, so we're not having to relay information to captains and everything like
I
that.
think that's an excellent call.
I like that.
Let's
Senior
just-
staff report to sickbay.
And you're in sick bay.
Fast like lightning. All right, so Commander Neumann is still in stasis.
Yes, I'm doing what I can to slow the process, but
Okay, so what do we need to get as much information on him, the crystal, and everything else to package it so we can work with the Hearth?
I've discovered some not revelatory but unique properties to the mineral composition of the ink in the tattoos, which seem to be interacting with the properties, particularly in the Kindred, but even more powerfully within the chamber that we found.
Taking your pad, looking through it.
Given the fact that he appears to be conducting so much energy right now, and we're dealing with technology that seems to sap energy, I'm positing there may be some kind of correlation between what was done to him in his family as a child, having these applied to him, and perhaps correlating possibly with more directly with the technology beyond just mythological illusions.
And it seems to be electrical in nature. Great
Yes.
progress. Keep going.
Thank you.
Izzy?
Can I also pull up any information on his home colony?
Sure.
Because I'll want to compare that as well.
And also, if there's anyone from his family or from that sect that we can get in contact with, perhaps, and talk to about their beliefs, what was done to him, the actual rituals, I think that may produce something. And
Can
I'm
we make
looking for any
Morgan
lead.
call his mom?
That was going to be my recommendation. I mean, right now, you're working on so much just to kind of analyze the actual crystal itself. Morgan?
Yeah, I'll call his mom.
So the crystals drain energy,
Yes.
and we have a fragment of the crystal
On our ship.
on our ship.
That's why I want it to be able to get off quickly.
Well, I'm just wondering if it will drain. We could use it to drain the energy from Neumann.
Oh, as a repository, almost.
It's possible, though, the last time that Newman came in the proximity of one of these crystals, it proved, well, it initiated this whole process, and
It was catalytic in nature, but I like
Yeah.
where you're going with that. Let's gather some more data as much as we can on the crystal and as much as we can on Neumann, but let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think we'd have to
Yes.
have a much better understanding of how it actually worked because there was
Right.
absolutely no control
Right.
whatsoever. And yeah, if they are brought into contact with each other.
Which could be dangerous on the ship, but possibly, we'll just need to know more to
Keep
make
that
sure.
on the back.
Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
he seemed to
Good
be
thinking.
absorbing. I think if
I think that's a jump. I mean, I
It's a bit of a leap, yes.
understand. I think we don't know.
we don't know for sure.
Yeah, what was being powered. I don't know if it was. I wouldn't. I don't. Also, not a scientist, so there you go. But it didn't really appear like Neumann was being powered as much as he was almost a catalyst, if not a conduit.
I think the possibility that I'm following here, at least, I admit it's entirely a theory that with only a few shreds to back it up. But if that proximity and any mineral similarities that the ink may have had could have made him a conductor for the same power that the crystal was drawing upon.
And you did say that the the tattooing wasn't related to the Kindred material. That was the thing that we just tested,
No,
right? Okay.
the primarily seems to be silver oxide based. I was curious if you could compare my findings in that regard to anything you might know about the crystal itself.
Yeah, can I compare the tattooing to any of the substances I have readings on from Stelladon? So,
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's do reason and science. Difficulty. Let's do difficulty 1.
Ship assist?
is this in the computer?
Was it in the computer or was it in your personal files?
Well, I'd be using the computer to do the comparison. So it'd be
All right,
from my
ship
personal
assist. Oh, let's do a
files.
ship assist, sure. Why not?
Alright.
Ship
I am
assist
still
of. What do we want to do for a ship assist?
What did you just say, reason science?
Yes, reason and science, ship
Computers and
assist. I'm
science?
trying to figure out what I want to do for the ship assist because I can't find my little piece of paper. Where's my little piece of paper? Sorry, y'all. Hold on a second here. Where is it? Son of a bitch. Sorry.
Computers and
Do I
science?
not have? There we go. Ship assist. Let's do computers and science. Yeah.
Cool.
I already did mine. So
Oh.
yours.
Success.
4 successes.
Wow.
Hey, it's all turning around now.
Yeah. Scary at the beginning, but now we're getting good.
You're stockpiling momentum.
So what you were able to gather, Stelladon, what you're able to gather from that is the silver oxide isn't directly related to what you've seen in Stelladon. There's nothing directly tying those two together.
Is there a relational pattern that is similar to what we're experiencing now, even if it's not a direct one-to-one of a chemical composition? Is there any kind of like interaction between that we could use as a pattern to focus on in our situation?
Well, I don't think there was nothing in the encounter on Stelladon that was related to a silver oxide or anything like that that was experienced or attempted.
Is
And
there
I'm also-
anything? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm also just assuming that those records include scans of the crystal itself. So, like, comparing the
Right.
the crystal.
Burn me a momentum. I'll tell you more about that.
Okay.
The crystal itself, the structure on that, it's a hexagonal crystalline structure, but it is unlike other crystalline structures that have been encountered. It doesn't react the same that you would expect, and Starfleet has, in spite of all of their efforts with the remaining fragments that they had on Stelladon, they were unable to really identify what the material was, and it is currently classified as an unknown material.
And this is the Stelladon situation.
This is a crystal that the Starfleet looked at Stelladon.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
If I can just, I'm following every lead I can think of here. When we were in the chamber and the alien technology spoke to Neumann, now we understood it as English, but we're equipped with translators and stuff like that, right? So
Sure.
it would have filtered through that. So was it actually speaking in English, or can we analyze the linguistics pattern of the actual, what it actually said, to try and get some hints as to its origins? I'm following everything I can.
You really are, yeah. I did not expect that kind of question to come up in that at all.
It wasn't me this time.
When it comes to the Norse, it's all about the language.
It's all about the language, apparently. You can try that, but I don't think you're going to get anywhere with that.
Okay.
We could
You don't
spend
mean like
30 minutes
actual
going
like
on that one, but-
spoken language, but also like linguistics, runic symbology?
Yeah, to a certain extent, we're studying all of the symbols that are
Right,
there. So, it's
right.
but in terms of what language it was actually speaking to us,
I see. Okay.
comparatively, because like I
Sure.
screwed the pooch on the genetics roll, but so I'm like, don't know if I'm going to be able to find, because I'm trying to find like a baseline for what he's turning into, so that I know what the active agent operating against him is.
Right.
If I don't know what he is now or is turning into, then I don't like, if I try and stop one thing, it might be actually like killing his immune system and making him even
Sure.
more susceptible. So I'm trying to get like my baseline for what he is now before I can treat or diagnose what's actually doing it to him.
Sure.
Can I just compare whatever, if there was any sort of symbols, any sort of iconography available at Celadon, can I compare that to what they saw?
So the Stelladon ruins were ruins. There was not much. Even to get to the crystal chamber where you originally found this stuff took climbing through rocks and
Yeah.
everything. There was not, with the research, there was not a lot of complete iconography that they could find there. There would be fragments that you could try to pull and try to see if there's some kind of correlation with pieces and things like that to see if it does correspond to Hearth. But that would take a little bit of research time on your part to do that.
That is a thing that I would like to do at some point. I'm not, let's put a pin in it.
Okay.
Maybe?
Before I return again to my corner of shame, given my focus and knowledge of xenobiology and kind of what I know about like the way biological systems in general tend to work,
Okay.
is there anything I can do just from observing how he's working now that can give me a clue as to what the actual like agent in his system that's acting upon him, whether it be viral or toxic or...
You would need to do some more research. With the information you have so far, you don't have that information.
Okay, can I get some kind of like idea of like where I need to research?
Tell you what,
Just-
let's go ahead and let's dive into the scientific method thing.
Okay.
You guys already done the observation on everything. What we'll do next is let's get some hypothesis from the group to figure out what you think is happening. You will take lead on the investigation,
Okay.
and you'll then make a certain number of rolls to figure out if it's correct and find the solution or not. There may be dead ends, you may be going down the wrong track. If all of you are completely off base, I'll give myself some more threat and you can start over again. But right now, the thing you want to do is get a hypothesis from everybody, and then you guys discuss about where you want to go. So what I'd like to do, just for like time's sake, let's just go through and like each person give like a hypothesis of what you think could be going on, and then we'll let you take lead on that. And anyone here that's got a 2 or higher, it's going to be a medicine check. Anyone that's got 2 or higher in medicine can also assist with any of his attempts. Okay.
Not me.
All right. So let's start. Cindy,
I do.
what's your
No, I
hypothesis?
do not have, my medicine is 1.
That's cool. But what's some hypothesis you got?
Hypothesis, well, you said you've got a lot of energy flow. So basically my thought is that there's some sort of
to be clear, it wasn't energy flow. There's a lot of electrical activity.
electrical activity.
Yeah, and that could be neurological, that could be whatever. If his
so
neurons are on fire, that's going to be...
Basically, I'm wondering
electrical
if there's a bunch of electronic information that has basically been transferred from something else to him.
Got it.
Okay. Excellent.
Another hypothesis, maybe the electrical information has been dormant and stored in him, and something either about the Great Hall or the crystal has somehow activated it, and it's just flooding, possibly transmitting out of him to some other unknown source. Although I'm not supposed to help because I only have a 1 medicine.
No.
no, this is
You can do this. This is me like on the
We
roll.
can all think, we just can't help with the
Yeah.
rules.
No, that's actually really helpful because I've been thinking of him as a receiver, but thinking of him as a transmitter might be lead us somewhere at the very least.
Tashek's got nothing.
What's logical here? Because all my ideas are way out of the realm of logic.
There's no logic to this. Yeah.
Vulcan's got nothing.
I got nothing.
I think that the silver oxide has been working as a battery, and I think that the materials that his tattoo is made of are factoring into the structural changes in his composition.
All really good stuff.
It's not really a theory about long term, but as far as what's going on right now.
Sure, absolutely. Is there a... I'm almost loath to delay. Okay, well, it's his life, or I suppose we can always redo them and I hate doing it without
It's
his
his
consent.
life. We can redo them.
No. I'm saying, I'm thinking out loud. I'm sorry, because my only idea at this point to try and treat him or see at least how he reacts, and I guess we can like just do it a little bit at a time, is to remove the tattoos.
Okay. But I mean, again, what we're doing here is we're testing hypothesis.
Right.
So,
It's-
are you going to be following hers? Is that the way you're going to be going?
It seems
Do we
like
only
well,
get one hypothesis?
You can switch, but you need to have one focus that you're focusing on
Can I-
right now. And
can
if
I
you're in the
add
middle,
Basically, it's an
Yeah.
iterative
Oh, it's
process
here
you
then.
can.
Which is kind of what it's
Yeah.
done for. I think is not really that helpful, but I think something there's a connection with the crystal, and that could be explored more. And maybe if we use the crystal, could harness or some of the energy.
That's right. That's the theory that you had come up with before,
Right.
which is still valid. Wasn't it one tattoo in particular that it was the lost tattoo?
the lost tattoo opened the chamber, but once we were in the chamber, it was another tattoo that corresponded with a
the
symbol
other wall.
within the chamber that reopened, or
Did
at least
we-
unlocked it and allowed us to.
Did we ever
allow
determine the
Morganthe to
meaning
open
of
door.
the tattoo?
Hope
Lost
was the
and
second
hope. Okay.
meaning. Was the second tattoo.
and to be clear, the second tattoo helped open the door, but when you're in the second chamber, he was feeling the pain all over.
Right. It was only when we were in the Kindred, only the lost tattoo was causing him increasing, but discomfort. It started out as an itch.
But ultimately,
when
lost
we were
and
inside,
hope.
and after he touched the control panel and began interfacing with the technology and answered not to its liking, he began to seize all over and was crying out in constant pain, and nothing I could do medically helped at all, addressing either his nervous system, trying to.
Yep. I just wanted to kind of
Yes.
remember that loss and hope were the activating or activated tattoos
Yes.
in what had been experienced on the planet. Okay. No hypothesis, just a reminder.
Right. Just,
Okay.
collecting data.
CMO, what's the plan?
I'm hesitant to bring the crystal into it just yet because of
We still need
the
to
interaction that occurred before.
Yeah.
Was not a case of it was more conductive and seemed to activate the fragment up here, which then caused more damage. So I'd be loath to use it.
We still need to run more
until-
tests
yes.
and get some data on it anyway, so.
The kind of composite hypothesis I'm drawing from what the three of you were saying was that there is electrical activity that is accelerated. We know that there's a conductive element within his skin cells at the very least.
Have we examined the cells to see if they're actively changing?
Yeah, what's the nature of the change? What did
Yeah.
the sensors recognize?
All we
That's
got was not. We got some bad
not Newman, not
rolls.
human, and I'm running diagnostics on all genetic databases to try and identify.
But what if it's not genetic in nature but cellular?
Yeah, that I just mean.
I would need a baseline. Do we have a sample of him from before?
Yeah, of course we
He
do.
You'll have that on record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to. Yeah. Then let me go ahead and run some analyses comparing the two and see if
Any anomalies pop up?
yes, if
Well,
any
they happen.
anomalies have
Well,
happened.
we know that the computer picked up that something had changed. Let's
but
see what
I think
was.
it's
Yes.
a matter if it's an ongoing.
It was a rather sudden change, if it was at all, because we were only down there for even if it
Well-
started when he.
So there's a change, but it's a matter of if it's ongoing, if it's happening right now and
Getting worse? Is it escalating?
It seemed to be before I got him into stasis. It was.
His symptoms were, but the change in his cellular development?
Was that also?
I mean,
what we saw.
one possibly the result of the pain was his body undergoing this process. But again, that's conjecture, and I think it just might be worth if we can do a comparison of him before versus him now at a cellular level.
I would like to, since we started down the track of scientific method, I want to keep on that track. So if that's where you want to go, let's have that be a hypothesis that you want to explore.
Okay, I'd like to study the differences between his baseline skin cells, or not even skin cells, but like just his cellular structure from beforehand. Sorry, I was still thinking of tattoos, so skin was in my brain.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do then. You can take lead on this, and we will roll 4 successes. Anybody with a 2 or higher on medicine can assist.
Nope.
Yes.
Anybody on that?
That's my.
I think
I have a 10.
You're like, I got it.
I got you. I got this one.
Does homeopathy count?
No.
It never counts as medicine.
Let's do reason and science.
Okay.
Let's just do reason and science. Everybody's roll, and let's just see how many successes you get on that on reason and science.
Okay, and I'd like to go ahead and buy a die.
Hell
Just-
yeah.
Do you
Do
want
I
more
just
than
roll
one?
one?
Yeah, just roll.
Was that?
Do you want more than one?
What was the difficulty again?
Don't worry about that. You're just rolling
Oh, okay.
successes.
All right. Then yeah, I'm just gonna. One success.
One success? Okay.
This is reason and science.
It's reason and science.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way the scientific method works is you're going to have a certain number of successes to get in order to find out if this is working or what the solution is or what the answer is or what you're looking for right now. So there are going to be a certain number of successes I'm looking for. Normally there would be the interval situation, just like a work track where we'd be counting intervals right now. I'm going to let that first one go without intervals, but from this point forward, you can have 6 more intervals,
Okay.
at which point you're going to need to make a decision on what to do with him.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So
And is it going to be the same thing as far as intervals where each turn is
each one's
2?
worth 2. Yep.
Okay, so let's remember to burn a momentum to...
Yes.
So you have 1 success, correct?
Yes, that is
All right.
correct.
You're still working the problem. You're not seeing anything in the data that makes sense right now. You might want to consider some other aspects. Let's give us another roll.
Okay. Let me go ahead and buy down the interval.
Okay?
Yeah. Oop, that doesn't count.
You can buy more dice. as
Reason
well.
and science.
Oh.
Reason
Okay.
and science.
2 success. I mean, 1 success for me.
3 success for me.
Okay?
So I got
And do we get momentum?
1 with effect.
No, not on this.
Okay.
Not on this. Okay?
So that was a total of 4?
That was a total of
4, because I
Yeah,
got
it's
3
total
together.
4.
Okay. So you are noticing some changes in there, but it's not clear. You're going to need to do a little more research. Let's give us another roll.
Let me have the interval again. 2 successes this time.
I failed.
2 successes. Okay. Did you burn the interval that time as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. And how many successes do I need to get total?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh, you're not telling me that? Okay.
making
But I just know that I have 6 intervals. So it's been 3 intervals.
It's been 2 on the clock.
It's been 2 on the clock. Okay.
So this is number 3, burning down.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah. I'll just keep running straight. Okay, that's another success for me.
I failed.
Just one more success.
1 more.
Could we potentially be doing something to
buy
basically do
more
more
dice.
research to get more momentum back, to get the momentum back up while they're doing this?
Not right now.
Okay.
Keep rolling, y'all.
All right, we got 1 left.
Yeah.
I was going to throw some more color in here, but I just want to see how this rolls. This is the first time I've done the scientific method before. So this is
Yeah, this is the same.
Okay.
Yeah, this is-
We're not doing anything. All right.
I'm trying
Burn
different
that
things.
momentum down.
Success.
Exposing it to different energies. That's 2 successes for me.
3
and okay.
successes.
3?
So that's 3 total. I thought I might, but since we're doing science
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
medicine, I can't use my focuses.
Okay. In the middle of this next round with you and Morganth working, you do find something significant. You're able to isolate some of the newer cells. You know, I said before that cell division has increased, as has cell death. You're able to isolate some of the newer cells. And you do notice that there are some significant differences in the base pairs of the fourth chromosome. He has about 50% more base pairs on his fourth chromosome than before. So his newer cells have essentially increased in size by 50%, at least on chromosome 4.
Have increased in size.
You would say length of the telomere. There
Okay.
are more base pairs in there, so the actual length of the chromosome itself is increased by 50%.
So an increase in the number of base pairs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and that's on the fourth. What does that control?
There are many things on each chromosome that controls many things.
Okay,
So,
all right. I just
yeah.
didn't know
Are the
there was like.
telomeres responsible for like synaptic and neural electrical response?
No, not really.
Oh.
You said that was the fourth chromosome?
Fourth chromosome, yep.
Okay, so
So
he's getting more.
It's the building blocks of DNA.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah.
See, we already have our own computer. It's called Google.
Is this you need to know what a chromosome is and does? Is that what you're looking up?
This particular one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
See if that
human
fourth was
chromosomes and the
anything-
fourth chromosome controls.
if somebody had momentum, I'd give
Yeah.
you a little bit of information on it.
Oh,
I'll just give it to you
yes.
anyway. I'll just give it to you anyway. Fourth chromosome is kind of noted to be what they call a deserted gene. There's
Okay.
not a lot of genetic information on that gene natively.
Okay.
Whatever is happening, the new cells that Neumann has produced, they have significantly more base pairs. So there's more genetic information available on that chromosome.
Okay, since we have newer genetic information, can I go back to comparing it against known genetic codes to see like what it resembles, or
I
if
already did
it's-
that check once, but
Yeah, well, I'm saying
I'll let you know.
I didn't know
I
since we had
understand.
like, newer
I understand.
information. Yeah.
I'll let you do reason and medicine difficulty 2.
Okay.
Ship assist?
Ship assist with Sure. Ship assist.
And a person assist.
We all really want to save.
Y'all really want
One
y'all really-
success from me.
Help me.
One success. We'll do a ship
Just.
assist.
Just success on that.
Let's do computers and science ship assist.
Okay. Complication. Sorry, guys.
Crew assist.
I'll
What
let
was
you do a
it?
crew assist.
Okay. Well,
Reason and what did I say? Medicine? Yeah, reason and medicine.
okay. Success.
It was the exact same roll
It was.
both times. That's
I
amazing.
was really glad
You
about
had 2
that.
successes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You don't find anything in Starfleet records that is
Okay.
similar to this.
Okay.
But we at least have the data so that when we get back in touch with Hearth, maybe they have something.
Yeah, and have we? I know I mentioned it before, and it might have just been like there was nothing there. It's a dead end. But have we been able to compare it to Hearth genetic structures?
That would be a part of your search. There's nothing.
Okay, so there's just nothing. Okay,
There's
cool,
like,
cool.
or at least what Starfleet
I don't know
has
since
on
they were like
record.
reclusive that they weren't in the database, and so we needed to get that separately or anything
I
like
mean,
that.
we
but
have whatever
that's fine.
we've observed from them, but
Okay,
not
yeah.
necessarily their own scientific knowledge.
Okay, so his genetic information, like so, basically a sort of a empty slot is increasing with information. Is what I'm drawing from, and I don't. So I mean, that could be. I don't know if that means it's turning him into a giant or if he has cancer.
Well, you do
Because I
know
don't
what
know
human cancer looks like, and you know that it doesn't resemble
Right.
that.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, if he has human cancer, yeah. If he has frost giant cancer, I don't know what that looks like.
Are we still in the middle of the scientific method?
Scientific method is over at this
Over,
point.
okay.
He has succeeded in that. So.
Let's run some more data on the crystal now that it's quote unquote safe in the shuttle bay.
Okay. What do you want to do with Newman? He's just sitting there in stasis.
If he's in stasis, he's okay.
We're not going to let him stay okay forever.
Can
Thanks,
I?
No
Is
problem.
there?
I don't know. Maybe we
Is
can take
stasis-
him out of stasis and see what he turns into.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking like.
It's not in character.
Is stasis a binary thing? Like it's either on or off, or
Pretty
can
much.
I like?
I mean,
can I control like?
Like a dimmer switch.
Yeah, kind of like just to sort of like let it trickle through a little bit, just to see which way the changes are going.
I don't think it's going to work like that. I think
Okay,
we're pretty
all
much
right,
gonna
that's
be- yeah. I think we're going to have to say it's on or off.
Okay, that's one of my last resort options for right now. I'm gonna.
Yeah, ultimately, it sounds like we may inevitably go with Tashek's initial hypothesis as an accidental default. But I'd love to get some additional data on the crystal just to see if there's anything that we can at least predict or prepare for in the eventuality that
Yeah.
they both burst their confines and make sweet alien contact together. Or explosion, you know.
You know, as they do.
Yeah, we've got them both in stasis right now, so hopefully that'll at least keep them from
Actually, since both the crystal has been tractor beamed on board and he's on board, have there been any elevations or escalations in either of their readings due to proximity?
Nope.
Okay.
Anything else you guys want to do while you're down here? I mean, there was talk about calling his parents. I don't know if you guys want to call his parents or not.
Call my dad.
Yeah, I would like to gather some information on what exactly was done to him, and if
Morgan,
there
make
are
that phone
beliefs
call.
surrounding that.
Historical or just tribal data on.
Yeah, like we turned him into our chosen one so that he could give forth birth to Odin someday. Like,
So, and just on the list of sort of further research that someone can be doing, there is the scans on the crystal, which I think should also include a comparison to what the fragment looks like now versus what it looked like before. Because I've got
Also
scans
comparison to what his
Do it.
and
DNA is turning
also
into.
yes.
do that iconography comparison.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so what are we doing?
Can you man the sensors and then Morganth can make the call or work with Tashek to do the sensors as well?
Yeah.
Maybe split up those duties.
Okay, let's start with Morgan.
Captain,
Yes.
are you comfortable with me reading a bit of Newman's file before I make contact with his parents?
Yes.
Thank you.
You are head of security, after all.
I already have.
I would expect
But
that.
are you okay with it?
It just, but so since I have read Newman's file, who are his parents?
He never told me their names, so you're going to tell me their names right now.
Walter Senior
Harry.
and Walterina.
Didn't think about these things.
Tarina.
Let's say Svorn. For the
Svorn.
father, Svorn.
Okay.
Times pass, so names morph. And
He's been sworn to love you.
Belda.
Bella?
Give you a little.
Belda.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Belda.
D.A.
Belda.
Hilda?
Zorn and
Belda.
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 Okay. There you go. Those are your parents' names.
They're sworn to build a better future.
God damn it.
That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh,
no,
man.
it wasn't. I want to throw this. If I throw this, it'd be really funny because it would look like it's going down. It's like going sideways and down.
What else do you want to know?
So they're Odinists.
They wouldn't actually call it that.
Okay.
The following is
Oh,
called.
good, because I really don't want to have to deal with.
I mean, they follow
Put some
Norse.
clothes on, am I right?
No, right. But there's following Norse mythology, and then there's a specific Odinist cult that's actually around right now, and they're super white supremacists.
Well, yeah, no, it's not quite that.
Yeah. Okay, so they're just super into Norse mythology. I
real
mean,
thing.
You'd say that.
they
yeah.
practice
Gross.
the traditions and rituals
Right.
of Norse mythology
Right.
from ancient Terran days.
Right.
We've got a lot of gaming
But
books
they're
and
not
Led Zeppelin
like-
posters up.
There's
Maga.
Right,
I'm not
there's
calling
actually-
Walters racist.
No.
Maga Trump
No.
parents.
Nope.
No,
not like
this
that at
is
all.
this is a pure
be-
just.
It's the actual the Norse group that's around today is I think it's called like Alstra or something like that. They actually disavow.
No, I
white
know.
supremacist
Yeah,
stuff. But
yeah.
it's not like that. They are
Yeah.
very much into the.
I mean, head of security needs to know if there's some beefing up that needs to happen for a confrontational call.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that
I get it.
that's what this group's about.
Though it might be interesting to know what the reason was for that group breaking off and forming their own colony, if that's in the history records.
Yes.
I mean, presumably it was just we just wanted to.
So yeah, so this is a sect of a larger group, but they have splintered.
Yeah, you could probably say that. Sure.
Okay.
You would. You could say that some of them went off, some of them stayed there.
Okay. Let's just call them.
Just call them. Give him a call. All right. You're able to track down and communicate with his parents. You hail them. A very tired-looking man comes on. He's like, "Yes."
Hi, Svorn Neumann,
Yes. What? It's
Father
the middle of
of-
the night. What?
father of Walter Neumann.
Yes. Is everything all right?
No, it's the middle of the night.
pranks.
Honey, we've got an asshole on the phone. Is my son all right or not?
No, he's not.
What's going on?
We're not sure. I'm calling you for more information.
Well, I wasn't there. How would I?
Thank you. I'm sorry to deliver this bad news, but I do need this to go as quickly as possible. We're trying to figure out what's happened.
Okay.
I work with your son on the starship USS Mazu. We are on a mission that has taken us out into far, far space. We're close to the Shackleton Expanse.
We're not that close to it, but yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to be too specific.
We're in the quadrant.
You're in the neighborhood.
We have landed on the moon, a moon very far away, and basically,
Are you telling me my son has died?
no.
Then what?
Can you bear with me just this briefly?
Okay.
Thank you. When we were on this moon, we found ourselves in an ancient hall that bore runes similar to your son's tattoos. His body had a reaction in this place that allowed us access to a secret chamber. I'm on a secure channel. There is some sort of technology that was set off by his tattoos, allowed him to interface.
What? Mm-hmm. His tattoos? That doesn't make any sense.
Thank you.
But what? I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm not quite done.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
Oh, okay. Is he all right? You still haven't really told me what's going on.
Well, I'm about to get there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, part of this interface turned on some sort of crystal. Your son began experiencing an intense amount of pain. He was asked by a voice if he was a seer or a veneer. He hesitated to answer a seer and then collapsed and is now in a comatose-like state with his cells genetically mutating.
What?
So,
What?
yes. Can you? How old was Walter when he began being tattooed? Is this standard with your religious practices?
Sure. Yeah. We'll call it that. Sure. Standard. Yeah. He was 7.
Okay.
Tattooing is 7.
And
Jeez.
historically, you are part of a group that practices an ancient Terran Nordic religion.
His cells are doing what?
We're working on it.
Okay. What? What's the question? I'm sorry.
You are part of a group that practices an ancient Terran Nordic religion culture.
Oh. Sure.
Some more than others, I guess.
I mean, religion. We just.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Lifestyle.
I mean, yeah. Some people are a little more into it than us, but we just do it.
Okay. Who is more into it than you?
Not many people around here.
Okay.
Nobody really. We all just kind of like, it's tradition. It's just what we've done for the past few hundred years. We're merchants. We just trade. We sell. People come here and buy things. We sell it to them. We make credits and
Okay.
Latin them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Where did you say the people there? I understand that you splintered off from another group.
Well, yeah, but that was centuries ago.
Where was that group centuries ago?
Somewhere on Earth.
On Earth?
Yes.
What was the cause for the splinter?
I mean, I wasn't around.
Sure, yeah, but it's a culture, it's
Yeah.
tradition.
I mean, yeah,
Certainly there are stories passed down.
sure. Okay, well, okay, the stories are we wanted freedom to follow our stuff, but let's be real. We wanted cash. There was a chance for trading opportunities. We saw the opportunity, we went for it, we followed the culture. I mean, yeah, we taught Walter all this stuff, but I mean, never actually believed it.
Did Walter?
I mean, yeah, maybe a little. I don't know how much. We're not close. We're not close.
Okay.
It doesn't mean I don't care about him, but we're not close. Is he okay?
He's not right now. We're trying. That's why we're doing the best we can.
And you're saying his cells are doing what?
Changing.
How are they changing?
Well, if you'd like to spend some momentum. No, I'm just
Brutal.
we are examining different potential causes. I wish that this was Walter on the phone with you, explaining to you, giving you a funny story about a time that a crazy thing happened in space. But honestly, we don't know what's happening to him, and we don't know what caused it. The best that we have to go on is that there was a reaction between his body around the tattoos and something that was put in this place. Were you the only group that splintered off?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay. And that was several hundred years ago.
Yeah. His cells are doing what?
They're changing.
And something made them change?
That is something is always the catalyst. for
Mr. Neumann,
change.
this is Captain Rawl. I'm sorry to interrupt, but is there anything that you can tell us from your religion, your history growing up with your son, or anything that could possibly give us a lead? The reason we've reached out is to see if you have any information at all that we can use to diagnose and help heal or understand what's happening to your son.
I need to talk to my wife. Thank you for. Please let us know how Walter's doing.
Please let us know if you come up with anything.
We'll
Thank
send you
you.
coordinates for a secure channel if anything comes up that you want to send back to us.
Thank you. Goodbye. Out.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Why should you be sorry? You're the captain.
It didn't seem like he was not forthcoming, but
You just didn't seem to know anything. Wonder if he or someone in the community might know the reason for that particular ink being used. That may be a possible avenue.
we'll see if we can maybe send a message to request further contacts with his group, tribe, religious group, to forward that question along.
We could try looking up the group left behind on Earth.
Sure, yeah, we'll follow any leads at
Maybe
this
if there's
point.
someone who follows it more seriously, then they might have more as well. Also, have we looked up the current practitioners of? Are there current? Can I?
I think we just spoke to some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can
Let's keep chasing down the tribal leads, but what can we get at the crystal at this point too? That seems it's currently on the ship. Let's focus on that.
While we're, I'm just gonna do a little hail to. I'm not sure what I can hand you through the quarantine field, but if there's any way that I can get you both a healthy sample of Neumann cells and a current. I'd like to see what exposing to the crystal in proximity or its energy field, both a healthy sample, a current sample from a non-tattooed portion, and a skin cell with the tattoo, just to see the way that they interact, see if I can get anything off of that.
Please prepare the samples. In the meantime, while he's preparing the samples, let's scan the crystal.
Yeah, let's do those other scans on the crystal.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing that I said we should do? Oh, the comparison of the. Oh,
Getting a hail from Hearth,
Oh, on screen? Are we on the bridge, or are we still in sickbay?
wherever you want to be.
I'd say that conversation probably happened on the bridge.
Yeah. Bridge.
Bridge, heading up the bridge.
On screen.
Goji comes on screen. Captain, we have discussed your offers. We do appreciate them once again. The systems are coming back online, so we are feeling confident about this. We do appreciate your ship holding in orbit with everything that we've experienced at this point. Our advisors are very concerned about additional outsiders being exposed to the Kindred in this new area that was discovered. Is there anything I can tell them to convince them to let you join?
Certainly. Thank you for the update. We've been gathering data on our own, and we're making some progress, which we would love nothing more than to give to you in collaboration to get some answers about what's happening to our crew member as well as the people on your planet and your Great Hall. As far as new outsiders, I hope you would consider that we are not new to you anymore, that the developments that have happened both in your Great Hall and everything else have been born of a collaboration not that long past with us. So by taking that into consideration, although the advances were violent in nature and unexpected, they were advancements in terms of revealing new portions of your hall, a new understanding of the treasures on your planet. We want nothing more than to better understand them in the same way that perhaps you do. But in our case, a life is at stake, and a life that had particular impact with the events that have already occurred on your planet. It is in the spirit of cooperation and exploration and furthering our mutual knowledge of the situation that we are extending our offer of help, significant resources, and the data that we are even now continuing to compile.
Give me a control and command check.
For me? I haven't
For
rolled
you.
for me in a while. Oh. Control and command?
Yes.
Okay. 2 successes.
Captain, please send an away team down. We will allow you to escort some of our scientific teams into the Kindred to investigate further. And hopefully will help you and your crew and perhaps show at least our goodwill towards Starfleet in this very difficult situation for our people.
Thank you. We'll bring all of the data that we've compiled thus far, including Starfleet historical records and current data.
Thank you, Captain. Godiel.
Roll out. Now the field trip. All right, who's gonna? Can we run some?
I'll take care of the ship.
We definitely still need to run those scans.
Yeah.
And
Can we run the crystal scans first while I think about who to send on the away team? Because I'd hate to go down there without that crystal scan data.
What exactly are you trying to get out of the crystal scans?
What is it?
that was the one we were going to compare what changed. Like basically, I've got the scans of it from before this event, and I just wanted
I want
to
to
do
see
quick
a side by side before and after, like a makeover, like.
see if anything in the crystalline structure changed
Everyone loves
after
a
it
makeover
reacted
before and
to
after.
it.
Got it.
And then were you going to see the reaction to Newman skin cells?
Possibly contingent on what the solo crystal data looks like.
Okay.
That's also something that I think we could do once the away teams. I think the crystal should stay on the ship,
Crystal
And
and Newman are
the-
definitely staying.
and that the research specifically on dealing with Newman should continue, regardless of who's on the planet.
Is that a Led Zeppelin song?
Is it really?
Crystal Ship?
I didn't know that.
I think it's
Definitely a metal song, if not Led Zeppelin.
Also, when you said that the comparison of the iconography would take a while, how long is a while?
give me I'm going to say that you've been looking for a bit. You've got the computer helping you on this one. Give me a reason and science check, and we'll get a ship assist on that as well. For the ship assist, let's do computers and science.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty of 1.
Fail.
2 success.
Hey,
2 successes. Yep.
Give yourself a momentum back.
Yeah.
So looking through all of that with the iconography and everything, you actually do find some writings by someone who had taken some time to study the Stelladon, and they thought that they had found some similarities between some of the fragments and what they considered either Norse mythology or what they had heard about at Hearth. Hearth didn't really let a lot of people into the Kindred. It's not a place, so there's not a lot of huge data outside of the planet on what's within the Kindred. But that was his conclusions, that there were similarities. He did write it up to the concept of convergent cultural evolution.
Buzzwordy.
So yeah, that's pretty much what you've got.
Convergent.
Convergent cultural evolution. Basically the idea that different cultures separated by wide distances can
Just
develop similar cultures.
spontaneously, the same
Spontaneously.
thing can come out
Right.
of multiple places. Okay, so that information should definitely go down as well.
Absolutely. I'd also like to propose that before we have the away team assembled and going down, that we maintain an active data transfer pipeline between the ship and the away team, so that as developments occur either on Hearth or on the ship, that we don't have to spend in-game time communicating it back and forth.
Got it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What's next, y'all?
So that was the crystal read that we got on the...
That was the
iconography.
iconography comparison.
Iconography
So we haven't
comparison.
done the crystal.
Okay,
thing yet.
let's do that.
So what are we trying to find? You want to know what the crystal is, basically, or if there was a change between
Yeah,
the
basically,
crystal.
because I should already know as much as I would about what the crystal is
Right.
from before, but I want to see what has changed from
Right.
the previous scans.
Nothing has changed. The crystal seems
Cool.
identical.
Interesting. So if the crystal was identical, but it was still being pulled to the planet, possibly the planet was the active participant. or
Basically,
player.
the field was acting upon it. During the Stelladon incident, for instance, all of the power systems on the ship were drained of power, but there was no effect. There was no permanent effect once we restored power. It was simply that the energy was just pulled from the system. It didn't damage the system and cause it to stop generating power.
Do we know if that energy was pulled into the crystal or just dissipating into open space?
I don't think that was ever asked in research. Let's have a reason and engineering check with a ship assist. We'll let you do some quick reference
Okay.
on your data. Ship assist is going
What was
to
the question again? It was
whether the energy is being pulled into the crystal.
Or dissipating out into open space?
For the ship assist, let's do computers and science.
what was mine?
Oh God.
Reason engineering.
I think so.
Okay,
I don't remember what I said.
I'm
Fail on the ship?
doing a 1.
Okay. You weren't able to get a lot of readings from the ship because of the sensor, the power drain, so the sensors weren't
Yeah.
strong, so it would be hard to say. It is reasonable to assume that the amount of energy that was being drained, unless there's something crazy about that crystal, the crystal would not be able to hold that much energy without having somewhere to send it.
Okay. But based on my experience on Stelladon, it seemed like the crystal was a conduit anyway, because what I'd done previously was basically divert the power away from the crystal.
Right.
into
What you had
something else.
essentially done, you could assume that the crystal acted as a power relay of sorts.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we can do to trace where that energy had gone to after passing through the crystal?
You can try. You're talking here on Hearth, like
Yeah, we would
getting
have
down
to
the
check
Kindred
that
and
out on
everything.
Hearth.
On Hearth? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I can say
And
it
the
for
system
Hearth.
on Stelladon was damaged enough that we got no conclusive answers.
Okay.
Just for grins, when I was looking at the differences between my information and what was on Starfleet record, were there any noticeable gaps where something had been classified or left out?
In terms of the crystal itself? Or just anything with Celadon?
Anything around the Stelladon incident?
No.
We have one momentum! Make him sing! Can I spin this and get information?
Let me see how I want to address this real quick before you go doing that. Because the question is, was there anything missing in the information based on your knowledge? And the short answer to that is no, based on your knowledge from what happened at Stelladon, there was no missing information.
Because I wouldn't, like, if there was something that I
How
wasn't...
deep are you diving into Stelladon?
It has been a pet project for 30 some odd years.
On your own time, but not necessarily in Starfleet science.
That's what I'm saying, on my own time.
Right.
So basically, I would have kept up with whatever was public knowledge from Starfleet science,
Okay.
but I
Nothing was
wouldn't.
public knowledge.
But I wouldn't have been able to. Basically, anything I had clearance for.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have done any serious deep diving. Like I wouldn't have tried to get into anything that I wasn't cleared for. So was there anything that like maybe I was cleared for and has been classified since then? Like I saw it before and suddenly I'm no longer cleared for it.
No, but you do see that there was a recent reclassification of documents within the past, let's say 3 years.
Yep, that's what I thought.
A chuckle from Tashek.
Vulcan with a chuckle.
All right. And so basically,
That's a Vulcan sneeze.
so basically, if I'm looking at the records right now with my
From my
clearance, what I see is that there was some sort of event. It involved a dampening field, and there's no details on
the further research that Starfleet Science would have found outside of what is pretty much surface level. Basically, once anything was removed and research done on the Stelladon remnants or the artifacts, that's not available.
One more question.
Mm-hmm.
Who was doing that research within Starfleet Science?
It's a really good question.
Is that information available?
No.
Do I remember, like, before it was reclassified? Whose names would I have been following at the time?
Do you remember? Let's see. Do you remember? Because it's been a hot minute. You've had that
been
thing
a
for
second.
It's been a hot minute. Let's do a reason and science check with a difficulty of 3.
All right, I'm gonna spin this. Unless anyone has a strong objection.
I object.
You said reason and
I want the
science.
mystery to continue for as long as possible.
Just trying to see if I have anything that could potentially give me a boost here, and I don't see it. Okay, reason and science.
Yep.
Oh, 2.
Nothing that you see.
And I can't remember those names.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a
Been a hot minute.
Any chance I would have
You
written
hear a lot
any of
of
that down in
names.
my records, in my notes?
I was
my
including that
notes?
with all of these
Okay.
things. Yeah. If you had succeeded, that's where you would have found it. So.
Yep.
Let's jump down to sickbay real quick. We haven't done anything in sickbay for a minute. What's going on down there? What you going to do with Neumann?
I have 3 ideas
Okay.
at this point. First, I'd like to. I meant to do this earlier, but it's fine to do it now. Kate's been confused and baffled and frustrated. I'd like to hail Morganth
Okay.
and ask her to come and see us in the quarantine zone.
Morianth, go on down to sickbay. You're like, I have to.
Oh no, I'm there.
Yes.
I'm there.
I know you tried to scan Neumann before, and you mostly just picked up his pain. Now that he's in stasis, I thought maybe if there was any, I don't know if there's anything you would be able to detect, or if there's another presence, or if he's thinking anything while he's in there, anything that might give us a clue, but it's entirely your prerogative.
Okay.
I'll try. Let's do an insight and command.
Four
Successes.
successes,
Wow.
if we can count.
What are you trying
Failures.
to count? What are you trying to count there?
Yeah, I have interrogation. I also have persuasion. I also have telepath as a talent, so I feel like that should count.
I mean, that's how you were.
That's how you
I know.
What does that do specifically for the mechanic?
It just lets her do what she
It just lets me do
Oh, okay.
this. But I do, I think.
He's kind of in stasis, unconscious. You're not really interrogating him or persuading him to do anything. You're just
But
kinda
I'm
getting rid of
spying.
him. Yeah, if you had a focus on spying.
I do.
You
Espionage.
do?
Of course I do.
I should have kept my mouth shut. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have
Okay.
4. Bump up 3, because difficulty's going to be 1 on that one. Hey, Neumann,
Yeah.
how you feeling?
Not great.
Not great?
No.
What do you feel like?
Like I'm trapped in my own body. Like I'm paralyzed.
Are
Like
you
I'm
conscious?
Are you
very hot.
Are you thinking?
A little bit.
Okay.
This is what I'm thinking about.
No, but I mean.
Yeah.
It's basically what you're reading off of him, but
Yeah.
you're not actually.
And it's
That's-
only him.
But
in
he's
it, like,
he's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's uncomfortable.
Incredibly.
That's what he's
Incredibly
saying.
uncomfortable.
It's I can't move and I feel super hot. I feel like there's a little bit of like thievery thinking overlaying these facts. So
What is the fever thinking?
I mean, you know how it is when you have a fever.
I do.
Why am I in this
like,
dragon's mouth?
There's not a ton of logic. And
Yeah. But like, are there any particular words that are being tossed around with the fever thinking?
Like I'll grab a hold of a tangible idea and then it just spirals off. So like for a moment, I think about the symbol
Yeah.
and then the tattoo, and then when I got the tattoo, but nothing around the actual getting of the tattoo is correct because I'm getting it in a traditional ancient earth manner of somebody like tapping on my
Yeah.
arm, and the person who's doing it I don't seem to recognize. And there's palm trees and there's crashing of waves. And then the next thing that I think about is not being able to move. And then that turns into me being wrapped in some sort of blanket. But then that turns into me being wrapped in a blanket so large it fills an entire cave. So that's where my thoughts are going right now.
Okay.
Is there any way that she can, through this connection, give him some comfort or relief? Or okay. Thank you.
Of course.
I appreciate that. The next thing I'd like to do is, given what we know of from the new cellular information from the kind of further mutation that was happening, particularly in the information we were able to gather before regarding his genetics, can I use the computers to basically extrapolate a model of if he were left to his own devices, like what would occur?
Sure.
Yeah, what would happen to him? What would he turn into? What would be the
Let's
ultimate?
go reason and science with the ship assist on computers and science.
Okay, and I'm gonna buy a die.
Chrono 6?
Ship Ship assist. Yeah.
And what reason and what?
Science.
Reason and science. Okay. That's 3 successes.
Ship fail.
So you're able to pretty much extrapolate what's going to happen based on the short amount of time you had him before he was put in stasis and see what the activity is and everything. You're looking at a complete cellular regeneration, full body within 6 hours.
And is it able to extrapolate what he will turn into, what that new form will be?
We don't know what those genes expressions are. These are new genes, new base pairs that have not been experienced before. So there's no way to know what that expression is going to be.
Okay. The third thing I'd like to do is pray.
Okay. Fair enough.
I would like to ask the prophets for guidance and help me save my friends.
All right. All right.
Whatever that does in game. I have it as a value if that gives me determination.
I mean, and we are talking about Norse mythology. I'd like to think that that moves the proverbial needle somewhat. Given that mythology...
Yeah, do the prophets know the Aesir? Do they hang out as like the celestial wormhole and
gods as
Asgardian space?
beings, gods as alien beings.
Right. Right.
You tell me, GM.
You know what? Give me a roll. Give me a roll. Let's do insight and medicine.
Okay. Those are my best ones.
So I was thinking of an airplane. Like, yeah, they're like, do the thing. It's like, pray to God. Pray to God.
Let me go ahead and buy a third while I'm at it.
Yeah, also, he's doing a religion roll and it's insight and medicine.
Uh-huh.
Can the
mean,
ship assist?
No.
Well, the ship has very strong beliefs.
Clearly, right?
Okay, that's 3, possibly 4. I don't. I'll just say 3. I don't want to go through my list of focuses here.
All right, all right.
Like emergency medicine, would it apply? Or
No.
Okay, then other than that, I don't see any way that it would. Okay.
Difficulty 10.
Someone on chat said difficulty 10.
Difficulty 10. Praying to the prophets, difficulty 10.
Yes.
Okay, so 3 successes on that prayer to the prophet thing. As much as you're able to hear the prophets when you pray, you're probably getting a response somewhere along the lines of, sometimes it's best to let go.
Ooh.
Okay.
Captain, what are we doing?
Shoot me out the airlock.
No, I mean, that confirmed one of the things I was thinking about, and we were kind of joking about it earlier.
Can we
anyway,
take a
but-
quick 5-minute break before the away
Yeah,
team
let's
goes?
take a quick bio. We'll send the away team down and see where we're at after that. We'll take a quick bio. Don't run anywhere. We'll be back shortly, y'all. We'll be back in a minute. Sometimes you just gotta break it down and say, mics are hot. That's what's happening. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit and letting us take a little bio break. It's been a couple hours, so we appreciate that. Shout out FTL Physics Guy. Thanks for being over here. We're seeing on YouTube. Thanks for joining us over on Twitch. And what do we else? We have had Sinfusion. Thanks again for hanging out. And everybody else.
Sinful Siren,
Sinful
who
Siren?
has managed to, actually that means both of them have watched the whole backlog within the last few weeks,
Nice.
which is
Guys.
awesome. As the
awesome.
person who's writing up all of the notes and synopses and has therefore been having to go back and rewatch all the episodes, I understand how much time that takes, and I appreciate you.
You're awesome. Thanks, guys.
Really appreciate it.
Let's dive back into the adventure. What's happening, Cap?
Let's get an away team assembled. I'd like Izzy to go with me and Tashek. I feel like a little bit of Vulcan logic could come in handy on an away mission. So
All right.
we'll get one of your underlings to man the con and one of yours to juice up our power after the big drain.
I've been on it.
Given the potential risk, just if I'm in on this, I don't know if I'm in on this conversation.
You're not
or
in on this
but,
conversation.
well, okay. Do I know that there's an away team going down?
We should consult with the people who were
Okay.
on the previous away team.
Certainly. Let's go to sick bay before we leave.
Yeah.
And see if there are any additional updates because we've been on the bridge, right?
Yep.
All right, we've got an away team assembled. Any final thoughts before we go?
I would like to request that at least one of my technicians go along, given the possible risk to crew health. That someone with medical expertise, so not me. I'm
Sure.
clearly occupied.
George,
but-
how you feeling about an away mission?
Way to get off the ship.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's go.
George meets the hearth. Wish I could be there for that. You have fun, buddy.
Well,
I'm
we
having a great time.
will have this open pipeline of data and information streaming through as soon as you have any developments. Port them to our pads. Do we have pads with us?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we can.
George will take a pad. You can make sure that those get communicated out, and any engineering updates or anything else that we have, we'll make sure to get it back to the ship as well. If anything goes wrong on the ship, Morgan, you have command.
Thank you, Captain.
All right, heading down to Hearth.
Yep.
Heading down to Hearth. You get back down. Are you transporting or shuttling?
That's a good question. Can we shuttle to a close orbit over Hearth and then transport down?
What would that accomplish?
Having a little escape situation in case we get a field flare-up. Because one of the things I do want to ask Hearth is about the field fluctuations they had, and if we can cross-reference them to anything space-quakey. It might put a shuttle at risk,
To do that.
but
My thought is we wouldn't be able to get out to the shuttle.
Right.
That's
you need
right.
somebody on the shuttle to actually run the
yep.
transporter.
Okay,
so.
we're just going to transport down then.
Okay. Transporter down. Boom. Back into Eureka. Goja meets you with her science team, and she proceeds to point you in the direction of Kindred, and they head that direction. Do you have anything you want to talk to Goji about, or you just want to get down in there?
Just want to get down there, but on the way, transferring all of the historical Starfleet and current data that we've been compiling
Yeah,
and receiving. You've already got that?
I would say basically I've got a pad that's got all the information
Yeah.
that we're gonna.
I mean, assuming we've got some way to make it compatible with what
Can I
they
just take
have.
that? Can I just
Yeah,
take that?
yep.
That's great.
Hand it over.
It's got that.
And that contains the Starfleet records on Stelladon 4,
Okay.
which was the place where we saw it before. It includes, what all did I say? It'll include Starfleet records of his colony and what is known of their religion
Okay.
and Norse mythology, so
Okay.
that they have that information available. And
Additional information from your pet project. Do you want to abbreviate any of that?
I don't think there was.
Anything helpful there?
Basically, I would have made sure that if it wasn't already in the information from Celadon, which it may not have been, that like the scans of the crystal and sort of just the very base like sort of scientific information on what was observed at Celadon is
Okay.
there. But if any of that falls under what was classified on Starfleet records, then I'm going to want it to be very minimal.
Okay.
As well as there was something else.
Full genetic data updates, sparse as they
Yeah,
are.
all that genetic
Okay.
Yeah,
information.
All the
everything
genetic
about
stuff going
Neumann.
down there. Okay. All right. Okay.
What information do we have from Hearth?
This is Goji you're talking to?
Yes.
Okay. We are still a combination of horribly excited and horribly frightened by what we found. The thought that we've had so many centuries go by and not even know that that was there, it changes so much. We don't know what it changes, but it changes almost everything. So there's a lot of chatter, if you will. Our science teams are scouring over everything. I will say that they have not been able to do much. The damage to the crystal chamber, we have not been able to find a way to rectify that and correct it. No one has been able to make any of the same events occur again. I'm not sure what happened with your commander. How is he, by the way?
He's currently in stasis, but we are under a bit of a time crunch. According to our data and readings, in the next, 6 hours, 5 hours?
Yeah.
In just a few hours, enough of his cellular and genetic data will have transformed such that he will no longer be, from what we understand, human, which is his original species.
Unfortunate?
Unfortunately, yeah, we're still not sure. It could be fortunate, could be unfortunate. It's certainly unprecedented to the same degree that discovering new areas of your hall have been unprecedented.
Of course.
Do you have any readings on the field destabilization that occurred during the event that we might be able to get from you?
Well, our sensor technology is nowhere near as advanced as yours. We'll be more than happy to share what we had before the dampening field happened. I'm sure you've looked over. Have you looked over all of your sensor data before the event?
As much as we haven't gotten as much on the field, but since we're here, if you would permit it, we would love to get some additional sensor readings with our advanced technology on the any directional residue from the crystal when it had gotten close to your planet, anything around the field.
I'm sorry, what crystal that got close to our planet?
Oh, I'm sorry, on the pad you'll see something about, there is a crystal that was on our ship that had a reaction at the same time everything else was happening on the planet. It basically
reacted to the dampening field and pulled toward the planet. We were able to capture it before it came down, but it did almost damage our ship in the process as well.
So we have identified some connection, perhaps on a mineral, geological, or molecular level that we would love to investigate further. Would you and your company permit additional sensor readings?
Of course, yes. Please accompany us down into Kindred. You can take the sensor readings you will. I'm curious as to what caused this with your crystalline structure on the ship and how that happened. I will have our science teams go over any readings they may have had from the dampening field and see if they can find something as well and see if we can coordinate with that.
Certainly. Izzy, to check, get as many readings on the dampening field, the crystal, and as well as the cave now that it has been somewhat transformed as much as you can. Goethe, is it?
Godya.
How do you spell that, by the way?
Godya.
Oh,
I guessed right.
I was going to say Gautier, but Godia makes a lot more sense.
Somebody used to know.
Yeah. She didn't have to shut us out.
Had to wait 2 weeks for that.
I was way more Jean-Paul with it, but that's just because I'm a fashion bug. Anyway, Godia, is there any information while they're gathering sensor readings on these various items that you can tell us about the centuries of history and culture that you have around this that either did not take into account or has possibly been upended by this new discovery?
Well, I can't even begin the things that have been upended by this new discovery. There is this technology from the ancient hearth that we never knew existed. We have to question everything we've known for the centuries that we have been here. Centuries, thousands of years we've been here.
But what information and what knowledge has been preserved and passed down during that time?
Just the knowledge of the ancient hearth, and that they were a race that at one point had expanded throughout the galaxy. They were a strong, strong people, and then something happened. That's just what we have from the ancient writings. We've been here on the planet for years, thousands of years. Before that, who knows?
Okay. Do you have any information or regarding the evolution of your people and having descended from these great and powerful ancient beings? Are there any evolutions, genetically speaking, cellularly speaking, that
Maybe I should be clear. We never believed that we evolved from the great and powerful beings.
I see.
We just were here, and our people left this, and we were able to extrapolate that at one point we were other places, but we were just the hearth. The technology was lost to us thousands of years ago, and we're here.
I understand. Forgive me with my pointed questioning. Of course, we're just trying to gather as much information as possible, and within ancient technology and ancient history, any ties that we can connect to that with what we understand of our crew member and his own lineage and history might prove fruitful.
It may, and from what I've seen on the pad already, it seems that there are some strange connections between what we have in the Kindred and what your commander has experienced in his life.
Indeed. Do you have any theories or insights about anything that you've seen on the pad?
I wish I did. I have no idea. We are, Captain, we are an insular people. We don't, let's just say we haven't had a lot of experience with ancient religions from other worlds and other peoples. It's not something that we would have a lot of. This is new information for us, as well as for you, apparently, and we're still trying to come to grips with ourselves.
I understand. I can't imagine how challenging this must be for you and your people, but I'm sure that by working together we can get some answers and move towards a good place.
I hope so. I hope so, Captain.
Am I here for this, or have we already left to go?
You guys are
I think we're censoring.
Doing since
I was just doing
Okay.
some schmoozing, that's all.
Okay. There's a piece of information I want out of that, but I can't ask you.
Nope. So sorry. What are you censoring down there, y'all?
Hang on.
You hang on.
If I don't write it down, I'll forget it. Okay. What are we censoring? I definitely.
books.
Secondary
Accurate.
room, and then the
So-
crystal.
So I want to start in the Kindred, and we definitely couldn't. And I'm still seeing no reading on what the material is on the walls, right?
Right. This is
Okay.
not anything reading.
Is the doorway open?
Yes, they have, the doorway was open up at the top. They have secured it so that it wouldn't close, so you can
Okay.
get down into the crystal chamber.
Am I get any? Do I get any readings if I'm standing basically outside the doorway and scanning into the room? I want to get readings there. I want to know if there are any energy signatures coming out.
Okay.
Can I get visual readings?
What kind of visual readings are you looking for?
Like basically, do I have a sight line in there? Can I take a picture?
Sure.
It'll
Okay.
last longer.
Because I remember they weren't able to get readings inside the room, so I want to make sure and get like some record of
Right.
the room before we step into
Sure.
it.
You're not getting any energy readings at all.
Okay. All right. Take some pictures and then I guess step in.
Go into the crystal chamber. They have secured the door into the crystal chamber itself, so it won't close as well. As you remember it closed, you had to force your way through. They have forced that open in that time and have secured it. So it's an opening at this point.
Okay.
There are a lot of science teams in there, just logging, taking pictures, doing everything they can.
And all of their equipment's working at the moment?
All the
in
equipment's
Damping
working.
Field?
Everything's
Okay.
working.
All right. The crystal is still in the,
The crystal is still in there. There are teams trying to examine it.
and it's still
It's still
cocked out of place?
cattywampus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cattywampus.
Is there someone that looks like they're in charge?
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
is there, did someone brought us down here, right?
Yeah, you're down there with some people.
Okay, well, whoever walked us in,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to speak to them
Bring it on.
and say, the team has not attempted to put the crystal back in its place yet, have they?
No, we're just trying to see what it is at this point.
Okay, good, because I'm fairly certain that is the key to making the device work, and putting that back in place might cause that field to come back.
But what caused the field in the first place?
Well, there's some mechanism. So basically, my best guess is that the crystal is a sort of energy conduit. I mean, it's clearly key to making the device work, but as best I can tell, it is the key to the fields pulling power from the area around it.
Don't we want to get it working again?
Well, if you got it working again, then that would mean that all powered mechanisms within the field would stop working, and that field appeared to go all the way out into orbital space.
Okay.
So that would drain power from the entire planet, which I don't think is an optimal thing.
But I believe the dampening field wasn't on initially, so what turned the field on?
Something must have activated the system, presumably having to do with my crew members. We're still trying to figure that out, but he did appear to be part of the triggering mechanism.
Okay, so if he's not here, is it safe to turn it on?
Unclear.
Definitely unclear.
We'll take that into consideration. Okay.
And you will let us know before you make any changes.
I don't know if we'll do that. This is a Hearth-led expedition, so...
May I request that if you make an attempt to turn it back on, that our ship at least be notified, because it may affect our ship.
That seems like a fair request. I will pass that on to our spears.
Thank you.
Of course, of course.
Now that I'm here, I don't even know what to look at. Does it bear a general resemblance to the layout of the Stelladon ruins?
The Stelladon ruins.
I mean, they were toast, but
Yeah.
is there anything that looks at all familiar?
The center console with the crystal looks vaguely familiar.
All right, and so what I saw in Stelladon was basically just ruins of what I'm looking at now.
Right, and what you were able to get from Starfleet Science is that it was clear that there were seismic faults nearby. There was a lot of seismic activity. So by the time you got to the Stelladon ruins, it was just
It was just gone. Well, and it had been abandoned, whereas
Yeah.
this is under a thriving civilization.
exactly.
Seismic activity like a spacequake?
No, like
No.
earthquakes of the planet it was on.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, follow Ellie if you want to. There's the thread.
Quake's a quake.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if there are any, can we do some sensor checks or readings on like residual vibrations or the directional energy of like, because we know that the crystal was a conduit, the fragment that was on our ship. Is there any way we can determine the direction of where that energy was going to or from? Was it both ways?
If you had looked at your sensor logs before the actual dampening field had happened, you might be able to figure that out. But you guys have never done that.
And there's nothing on the planet that we can gather that data or information from?
You could try, but again, their tech's not quite as advanced as what's on the ship.
Okay. Let's
Could you
try it.
have someone on the ship look it up? I mean, is that,
I mean, you can do some research on ship if you want.
could we call Morgan and have her look at it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You said the lines were going to be.
Yeah, the lines are open.
Lines
so-
are open.
I've already
so-
looked it up.
She's heard us and she's tired of our dithering.
Oh my God, you people.
Well, what have you found? Do we need to roll for it?
Well, what exactly are we looking for, first of all? Let me just be clear on what you're looking for.
So the crystal is a conduit, or the crystal fragment that was on the ship is a conduit.
Okay.
We know that it means it was transferring energy to and from. We'd like to learn more about that to and from. Was it a direction to and from Neumann's body? The crystal cave? Did it dissipate out in space? Because there was an energy volume that could not have been solely absorbed by the crystal, which we had determined before the break. So where did it go?
Okay. So your gig is basically going through the sensor data before the dampening field hit and just kind of seeing what you're able to get on that. So give me, if you would please, a reason and science check with a ship assist. Ship assist being wait a minute. Ship assist being computers and science.
Okay.
3 successes.
Fail from the ship.
Okay. Okay. Let's get 2 more momentum in there. So let me see if I can translate this into what you guys are actually asking here.
Give us a little more. We're not going to complain about that.
That's why I got that momentum.
That's right.
I don't want to say this. I don't want to do this.
Generously.
Okay, so you're not seeing any type of energy within the crystal itself. You're able to isolate the sensors to what's happening in Izzy's quarters. You're not seeing any type of energy between the crystal itself like you would be expecting for some kind of energy transfer like you're looking for.
Sort of what I had in mind, what I'd envisioned was basically like an iron filing in a magnetic field, just sort of like the dampening field hit it and it just sort of locked into it.
Okay, all right.
Is that
Can we
anywhere
burn a
near the
moment?
right
Yeah,
path?
let's
You
burn a
can burn a
momentum and learn
momentum.
more.
If you dig through that, you do see what appears to be a subatomic force. Digging a little bit in there with that awesome science roll you had, it appears to be similar to a strong subatomic force, which is odd because those are very, very short range. There's no way that that should have the same effect at that distance. But the behavior of the crystal seems like it was affected by a strong subatomic force. And when I say strong, that's the actual name of the force.
Yeah, like the
Right.
strong force, and like by short range you mean like
Like-
within the atom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some kind of entanglement?
I'd like to spend a momentum for whatever's making it.
I'm trying to give me, if you will please, a reason and science check. Difficulty of 2.
I'd like to buy dice.
Shape by seas?
Yes.
2 successes.
And ship assist is going to be with computers and science as well.
Okay. Fail.
So 2 successes?
Yeah.
Succeed on that? Give me that momentum for more information and I'll give you this.
Yeah.
We can burn this one, or did we gain more from that, or?
No.
Okay, so, last one.
And I think you have one more actually. I lost.
We had taken one off, and so I think that the one that we took off was for this roll.
Yeah, the roll is independent. You should have 2 left.
Okay.
Now burn one
Okay, burn
for
one.
this information.
Okay.
You just followed a lead. You thought you saw something odd in the sensor data. You follow the lead.
This looks odd.
It does.
I'm going to follow it.
There was, for just a infinitesimal amount of time, there was a broad span, full spectrum interference across all subspace frequencies right as the dampening field went up. Split second later, there was another full band interference across all of subspace that also hit, that seemed to be centered on the crystal in Izzy's quarters.
So it started with.
you can say that there was a interference. This one was in Izzy's quarters.
And the other one, epicenter, was the.
Hard to say based on what you have.
But they didn't happen simultaneously.
Did not they were? I mean, we're talking like in subspace. Remember, subspace is virtually
Yeah.
instantaneous.
But I
Let's
mean,
try
we're
like-
talking like, because like the space quake happened simultaneously, we were able to determine. So
Right.
this was not that.
It's close enough. I mean, you're talking about a call and response type of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's calling that. You have another momentum to spend.
Yeah, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another response as well. There was a third response.
Subatomic as well.
The same subspace interference.
Okay.
Any location on that third interference?
Oh no.
Like the Shackleton expanse part?
I just wonder who's coming. Being super mum. So given the fact that we've got a development in subspace interference, we're going to request that the ship and also the away team just start to do historical and current scans around whatever information we have on that subspace interference.
Okay. I'm not even going to let you roll on that one because it's not something you would have found. It really is just kind of like a blip of broadband full spectrum interference. It's not a code behind it, and it's just something that you pick up as like something happened in subspace.
Okay.
Broadband. What interference?
We're going to call that it is, let me see exactly how I want this to be said. Where is the thing that I wrote without it? Subspace spectrum. So the entire subspace spectrum.
Subspace spectrum.
Yes, the entire subspace spectrum had a just blip of interference.
There's nothing that we can do to tease out any more information about that interference.
It's just static.
I think we got it.
Just started.
Yeah.
All right.
At least
We know
what
what
you're
we need
reading.
to know from it.
There's someone
Given-
squelching the microphone, basically.
Given that
Walk it down.
information, okay, so we're still down in the crystal room. Are your history tells you that the Hearth went to many other worlds? Yes,
That is just
that's the
the
story.
legend. That's a story.
Do the stories say anything about what other worlds they went to?
No. I mean, it's legend.
Just
honestly.
that they were everywhere.
Sure.
All right. I would like to take a good hard look at this console and basically see if, because it is intact, if I can learn any more about how the system works, because I've been mulling over broken pieces of what I assume is a very similar system for 30 plus years. And I want to see what it looks like with some of those gaps filled.
Okay. You know what? Let's do a reason and engineering check. Difficulty 5.
What?
Can I assist?
You can assist and you can buy more dice.
Can we? By giving you threat?
That's one way to do it.
That's
the only way to do
only
it.
way to do it.
Just cost you 3 threat.
And how much threat do you currently have?
Can I use my reverse engineering focus?
He's been stockpiling.
Because I'm basically trying to figure out how this thing works while it's turned off. And
Yes.
based on partial information.
Yes.
Okay. So I will give you.
He said he's been stockpiling 12. I say whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
He wants a big finish finale for
I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what you guys do. I may use it. I may not.
at this point, if we
Yeah,
sneeze, it could
whatever
blow
you
up the
guys
ship,
do,
and-
that's going to be difficulty 17.
I will give
Fine.
you 3 threat then.
Okay.
Because I really want to know.
Okay.
All right. And what'd you say? Reason and
Engineering.
Engineering.
Determination with value gives 1 die with automatic crit.
If you have a determination with the value. If you have a value that works on that. So you burn your determination. If you have a value.
Can I jump in with some of my values?
Can I say that because the whole reason we're
One of
down
mine?
here looking for this
Assist?
is because we're trying to save Neumann.
What's your value?
Family comes first and the crew is family. Like, I'm doing this
It
to
depends,
help
though.
them.
I'm not gonna play against us.
So the way you've presented this to me is you spent 30 years looking at this. So
Yeah.
I feel like this
Yeah.
is more.
It's a stretch. Yeah, no, this is just, I'm just really just, this is a thing I want to know about.
Well, let's roll and see what happens.
Do you not have any values that are about knowing about things?
I've got
Anything is possible with the right tool.
Nope.
something about there's so much to learn from other cultures. I mean, I have been studying the unknown.
You've been studying this cool tech so that you could
Yep.
adapt it to use your own stuff. So, yeah.
No, this is.
She's learning about the hearth now.
Engineering. One
Those are
success.
high numbers. Okay, what was the
Reason engineering.
5?
Difficulty 5.
16.
We got 1 success across the table from your assist. It's 4 successes.
3.
You definitely see some of the missing pieces, but seeing how they fit together, it doesn't really make sense. It's not how you would have put it together. It just doesn't seem to make sense. You would expect this to interact with that in a certain way, but if that was going to do it, it wouldn't be that. It just doesn't quite make sense. It's almost there.
Okay.
It just doesn't make sense.
I want to put down my notes. I want to just look at this thing that's in front of me and just looking at this thing in front of me, just try to figure out sort of, I want to know what does the crystal connect to? No. First, what's on the control panel?
The control panel itself is just covered with markings, symbols. It's hard to say whether they're switches or dials or anything like that.
Is it that same sort of symbology that
that's
that
on
was
the walls.
like on the walls and
No.
stuff? Okay. I asked one of the researchers, do you know what any of these mean?
Oh, I've never seen this before.
You've never seen this kind
No.
of writing before? So
No.
this is fundamentally different from what's in the Kindred.
Well, the same symbols are around the walls here, but the control panel is different.
The control panel is completely different.
Does it have the same alphabet, iconography?
It is not the same. Like you're looking at icons and symbols around the walls. Those symbols don't translate into the control panel, but it is the same type of architecture, the same type of construction. They are related, but what's on there is different. It's not like it's the same. It's not like I'm going to push a symbol for loss to turn on an air conditioner, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, and do they bear, are there, so conversing with the scientists, so are you familiar with this, or how familiar are you with the symbology on the walls?
Just from what we've studied.
What did our research when we were looking up the iconography and symbology on the ship turn up?
We never got to that.
We didn't.
It was in the background, but we never actually addressed it.
Okay, is that something that we can sort of take
Sure,
like a
you
visual
can-
scan, beam it up to them and see what we
Sure.
can
Yeah.
get from the
I mean, there are clearly some visual relationships between the symbols that are on these walls and what you would have found in ancient Norse.
Yeah,
Norse
because if we could
mythology.
interpolate
Yeah.
what
Can we translate any of this?
But again, those symbols are not on the controls. The symbols are
Well, what I'm
around
saying
the
is,
halls.
can we basically learn the vocabulary from the walls and then use that as context to try to analyze what's on?
Because you said they're related.
If
They may not
if
be
there
the
are
same.
similar enough things, can we draw a line?
If you
from-
guys will give me a week to create a language and an alphabet,
Okay, so this is not something that he set up as a clue. Got
Have you
it.
ever seen any of the symbols that are on the control panel in any other text on this planet?
no.
Can we cross-reference them to anything in the database for all known images, iconography, and symbols across
Sure.
all known and see what we come up with?
Nothing. The closest relationship you have is any fragment you would have found on Stelladon.
Oh, he's dying.
I
It might
just
be. We're gonna jump back to the movie here, guys.
How much info do we have on the ancient ones? Like not the Hearth, but not them, because he said they're different from the ancient
well,
ones.
Correct.
the ancient ones were also called the Hearth, correct?
According to the Hearth.
Okay, but basically they're ancient, whatever. So does Starfleet have any information on an ancient?
Would we know how to
race?
look that up in terms of, I mean, because the closest lead we have is Norse mythology, right?
Right.
And like there are archaeologists.
Were there any more to the legend on your planet of what they are?
What we are?
No. Oh, I thought you said the ancient ones are not exactly the same as you are.
No, honestly, it's an old religion.
That's fine. We're using any available information.
We're trying
Do you
to
have
learn-
any religious texts or even like fables and lore that we can use to
Just the
input?
fables that the ancients used to travel the stars. This was their home,
Okay.
and then one day they disappeared. All that was left was Kindred.
Did they travel by a rainbow bridge?
Since we're about to go check back with the medical team, is there any way that Cade, is there any way that you could prepare tiny benign samples of Newman's cellular information, non-tattooed skin, and tattooed skin that you could beam down to the away team?
I have the samples prepared that I was going to send to interact with the crystal in the shuttle bay that I never.
Well, I guess I can do that.
So I can easily beam those down instead.
Is there a way for you
Let's
to keep a
do the-
sample set there as well so that we have those just to...
I would recommend trying it on the tiny fragment in the shuttle bay first, honestly.
before where we are?
Yeah, because it's bigger here, and
It
this
is-
one's attached to the big thing.
It's true, but the going theory that I have here is that by having, you know, much fractional samples would maybe not trigger such a major response. I agree that, you know, fractional to fractional is probably a little bit safer, but we also are, it's an unknown reaction, if any reaction at all.
Yeah.
So prepare another set of samples to stand by for beam down. But do you have any other updates on Cade at this time before proceeding with the on-ship experiment?
Depending on the way the data goes, I'd like you to consider something unorthodox and potentially highly dangerous that I will take full responsibility for if it should go awry. Once we have the data from these experiments and we're able to consider that in the larger picture, with your permission, I would like to, at least for a short time, lower the stasis field on Commander Neumann and see what direction this change is taking. From what I'm looking at, I believe the change is regenerative. And from what Morganth tells me, it is still Neumann in there. He may be changing, but that change may be necessary. We may be fighting a fever when we need to just let it run its course. I don't need an answer right now, but I'd like for you to consider that as an option. It's the best course of action I have right now, and I believe that it is the right course.
Acknowledge, stand by.
Thank you, sir.
With Morgan,
I'll have you the sample shortly.
with Morgan's monitoring.
Captain, do you want me to run the test with the crystal and the sample cells before you do anything down
Before
there?
lowering the stasis field and further action on our part, yes. Please do.
Thank you, Captain.
So what exactly are you doing with those samples?
Look, I'm not really a science person, so I'm assuming somebody else is leading on this.
Okay.
Probably.
Who's our NPC,
the
Vulcan?
person.
I'm good at science.
Storal,
Storal.
our linguistics expert.
Yeah, you're still a science guy. So what do you actually
When it
what do you
comes to the
exactly want
Nords.
him to do with these samples?
What I had in mind was just seeing how they interacted with proximity and the energies coming off of the crystal
In
itself.
science terms, we're just going to hold them very close together
Oh,
and
got
see
it.
what happens.
Good science talk. To be clear, there's no energy coming from the crystal shard on the ship.
Okay.
But Storal does escort Morganth down with the samples.
These are like tattoo samples, right?
There's a healthy sample from the baseline
Did we skip
that we have
a
from
little
him.
bit?
We
There's
have
skin flakes, little scabbies.
yeah.
Right,
we
but
have
like tattoo flakes.
we have yes, we have sets of all. So healthy sample and also a post change sample, and at least in the post change sample, it's both a tattooed sample and a non, just to get a potential differential. I don't know what they took the sample from originally, so I can't speak to whether that's from a tattooed portion of him. It might be bone marrow. It might be
Probably going to be like a blood cell or
yeah.
blood or it
Okay,
might be bone marrow.
But I want to see how it interacts with his cells and with the ink.
Okay.
And the only
so,
sample I have is
Storal goes down there with Morganth to the shuttle bay where it is in the stasis field.
Where the threat comes in.
There is no reaction from any of the samples to the crystal.
Everyone expected. All right.
I do have the second set prepared that I also handed off whatever we want to
Sure.
transport. those.
Permission to pause and lower the stasis field.
Thank you, Captain.
Forgive me if this doesn't work, my friend.
Okay.
I'm gonna lower the stasis field. What? Are you okay?
He just said it in his head.
Oh.
But then he
Thank you
started
for-
talking about a hot dog. I don't know.
Thank you for
Right.
transmitting that to me.
There's a
So
talking hot
as
dog.
soon as the field drops, he goes into full seizures. His body is just tonic. You can just see just writhing pain. The sensor readings in the medical bay are just going through the roof. Cortisol levels are up. Liver and kidneys are going crazy. He actually starts vomiting violently.
I'm gonna role play this.
Do it! Do it! You just had surgery! Do that, you just don't.
He actually started bleeding at the table. It's so realistic.
Weird. The rates of cellular division and cellular death are again just skyrocketing through that, and it remains at that high, steady level. It does not seem to be abating in the immediate.
Is there a current mortal danger? Or is it like plateauing at this kind of like he's riding the line?
I mean, you have to make the call of whether it's mortal danger. That you have a patient who is seizing, vomiting, at 160 degree temperature.
but like the
But like, how bad is it? No, I'm just kidding.
On a
It's very.
scale of 1 to 10, where is my pain?
it's all
It's
over.
really fixing.
12.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing whatever I can to try and alleviate, at least like symptom wise, to try and make
How-
it.
how
Is
much
the
are you gonna
stasis
alleviate
field back
that?
up?
Is
or-
Morgan?
I don't. Well, I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I'm asking you, how much are you doing to alleviate the pain?
All the things.
Is Morgan there?
How much am I allowed to do?
Yes,
Like,
come back.
Do whatever you want to do. Tell me what you're going to try.
Inhibit the nerve sensor for pain, so he's at least not like his body's still going through the changes, but he's not having to undergo the
Okay.
Feeling it.
yeah. I mean, like the
I get you.
the ultimate anesthetic, basically.
Control medicine check difficulty of 2.
Okay, control medicine.
Control medicine difficulty 2.
Okay.
Nope, we're out.
Can I assist? Can I assist? I can't. This joke will never get
Are
old.
you there?
Yeah.
Sure.
Control medicine. That gives me 14. Difficulty 2. I'm gonna buy one.
Okay.
That's 3 successes for me.
Control and
Control and medicine.
oh, another success.
So 4 successes.
4 successes total. So we get 2
2
momentum.
momentum over there. The pain subsides to the point where Newman's eyes actually open up, and he is seemingly conscious.
What are you gonna say?
I'm hungry.
Where am I? What's happening?
You're back on board the Mazu. You're undergoing a cellular change. I've managed to alleviate the pain, at least for now. So, and that this is the first you've been we've had you in stasis for hours. I decided to make the call to lower it and let the change happen. The responsibility is on me if anything goes wrong. If you want me to stop and try and figure out how to make you human again, I can't make any promises, but
Human again?
you're technically no longer registering as human at a cellular and genetic level, which is why I think the best course of action is to see where it's taking you. The nature of the change appears to be happening on chromosomes that are not current, on basically dormant genes. And it's increasing the information. So I think it's potentially making you more you.
More human than human?
Yeah.
It's good. Say that's out of character.
That's out of character, sorry.
So I've never been human? Is that what you're telling me?
No, you were. I think that this is activating. I don't know. I'm in completely
Dormant.
new territory. It could be dormant. It could be something dormant that it's activating. It could be something brand new that it's metamorphosing you into.
Show me the science. Just bring something to me.
But I bring him any pad that has like sensor information
Okay.
on it that I can show him, and just like all of the screens in this room, if you look around, like have.
I mean, you're in a
All
lot of
you.
pain, so it's going to be difficult for you to get anything out of it. What are you trying to
Yeah.
get out of it?
I just want to take a shot.
Okay.
I can always look at it later if things get better.
His shot.
Give me a reason and science
You're
difficulty
welcome.
of 3.
Okay.
You have.
We
no
have some
regrets.
momentum.
Nobody was listening.
You have focuses
so
of
I heard it.
determination.
It
This
doesn't
is
And I loved it.
Is it time to pull him out?
I mean, I said it
I
at you,
don't.
but I still didn't feel like you
Reason
responded.
and science. 14. I'm gonna have to buy
I'm still in character.
a die to have a shot. So I'm
Yep.
just gonna try it.
Can I assist at all, or
Sure.
okay? What am I rolling?
Can I
No.
also?
What am I rolling for?
ooh.
Reason and medicine.
That's 3
Reason and medicine.
successes.
3 successes?
Yeah.
Oh, just over the line. Sorry.
What are you trying to get out of this exactly?
I just want an idea. I know he's explained it to me, but I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want a deeper understanding of what is going on
Right.
based on data.
The data shows that something has activated a latent gene in your
Latent
genome,
was the word. Well,
and it is causing massive changes at a cellular level.
With my xenobiology skills, like, I need any further insight?
Ooh, man.
With our xenobiology focuses
We
combined.
have learned
You have xenobiology.
so little.
and my persuasion. Mark, let us do it.
By our powers combined. Sorry.
The latent gene was artificially placed.
Rude. Fiddling. Buy a tattoo.
Is there any way to tell when?
No.
Okay.
Walter doesn't have tree rings.
I don't know. Maybe,
I don't know, based on.
maybe when you were 7 and got inked up, because who lets a 7-year-old get inked up?
That's what I'm wondering if it was like.
That's
yeah.
fair.
I hand you the pad back, and then I don't say anything.
Do you need anything?
I'm very hot.
The same temperature controls I've been
Yep,
using.
you can try it. It's tough, man.
We're going to do our best to get you through this. It should be a few hours, we said. Yeah.
This is illegal, what's been done to me. This is illegal.
I know. I'm sorry.
By Starfleet regulations, this is illegal. By Federation law, this is illegal. I did not consent to this.
Do you want me to place you back in stasis?
No.
We'll find whoever did this to you. I promise. And you will be there if I have anything to say about it.
Just leave me alone for a few moments, please.
Of course. I step over and just study a pad in the corner.
Sure. I mean, it is still progressing. There's the occasional bout of uncontrollable vomiting. Honestly, bowels going crazy.
Aw,
everything.
buddy.
Yeah. Your body's just kicking out a bunch of junk.
Gotcha. I can't do. There's nothing to be done. They put me in
Yeah.
stasis. What help is it gonna do? Yeah, I'm just resigning myself to going through whatever this is, and hopefully it can be fixed later. And hopefully whatever it is isn't gonna kill me. But if it does, it does.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the readings. Try to, like, if there's a point where it crosses a certain threshold.
I can say that it seems like there is a plateau to the effect, so it's not like a increasing change.
Right.
It does get to a point and then you just see a plateau. It's not a pleasant place to be,
No,
but it's there.
But I'm there by his side. I'm doing everything I can. And if it happens to spike or start climbing upward, I'm prepared to place him back if needs be.
Okay.
But at this point, we're going to see it through.
Captain, you're back on Hearth. What do you think of all this?
I'm horrified, but assuming Neumann is in good hands, prepare those additional samples to.
They've already been prepared and sent.
Okay,
it
then I'm
off.
going to let Godia know what we're planning to do here.
Okay. You notify her, and she seems okay as long as their science team is there to supervise.
Okay.
And samples make it down. The science team, yes, what?
Before we take out say what you were going to say, but I don't want the samples to come out quite yet.
Well, then you better go.
Okay. So basically, I'm looking at this chamber and just trying to reason out with whoever's here. So to check and
Okay.
are you here?
Mhm.
Okay. What is the purpose of this chamber? They walked in, something recognized something about Neumann, and he was asked a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
He touched a control panel that turned on the technology.
right?
And then
He touched it.
Are we on the line?
I
Yeah,
assume
let's
that we
say you
said-
guys are on the line.
we
Say
were,
you're on the line.
yeah, we had said that's the
Okay.
only reason I chimed in. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That
So
was-
y'all are on the line too, because basically y'all were there and y'all saw what happened. Okay. So when you initially walked in, nothing changed, right? You just walked in the room and it was just dark?
Correct.
Okay. He walked over and touched the panel.
Yes.
Presumably the panel recognized,
Yes.
if not the symbols themselves, then the substance in the tattoos. So it
What
would
we
be
can
great
say
to-
is there was a reaction.
there was a reaction. The system somehow recognized. Had either of you touched the panel before that?
No.
No one else had touched it, so we don't. But now we have people touching it, but the system's not intact.
We did also, once he was in pain and we were trying to turn it off, the panel didn't react to anybody's
Right.
The computer also didn't respond to any of our.
responses.
Yes.
Right.
What are you getting at?
The system asked him a question. What was the question?
Are you Aesir or Vanir?
I turn to the scientist and say, do those terms mean anything to you, even in your stories?
I'm not big on history. I could find someone who's big on history.
Do you have someone down here?
I don't know. I'd have to.
Can you, is Godia here?
She's upstairs.
Could it
She's
be
not
that
down
the
here.
system was looking for a code? A
Bring
response to
whoever
the code?
is the most knowledgeable and easily accessible to provide information insight
Okay,
about these questions.
they'll find somebody to bring
Great.
it up to you. Until then,
I believe my current hypothesis and what I've suspected most along the way is that whatever these in the old stories, the Aesir and Vanir were two warring races of gods who eventually made peace and came together and ruled over all the other realms. I believe it's possible that those stories may be based on two actual races who may have come together and
But
perhaps
if they had come
created a new
together, then
genome.
how could he have possibly answered their question wrong?
If he did not actually, I believe that his baseline DNA being human was not recognized, and it also rejected him when he showed doubt in whether or not he was.
So it wasn't an incorrect answer, it was just hesitation.
And I believe that the computer may have activated that latent gene to turn him into either AC or a Vanir, depending on, now that we know that the latent gene was artificially placed there.
Well, if the
Someone
system,
may have-
if the system had, let's say, some kind of ancient crystalline firewall to let him out, why would it want to transform him into something compatible?
Why would it want to?
Yeah, if you're saying that there's something that it has done to activate whatever has been latent in him,
Yes.
why would that be? Who does that benefit?
The ship itself, if it needs an AC or a Vanir to,
Pilot.
yes.
It's also unclear if what you said is correct, that the answer was not necessarily wrong. It could have be because he was human or because his doubt. It also could have just been the wrong answer. He was given two options.
It's true.
And he only ever said one of the two.
It was when he said he felt pain. Or he asked a question.
He said he was in
He asked why he felt pain, and the computer said,
an AC.
Aesir don't feel pain here. He said, why do I feel, or something like that. Who took notes?
And it wanted
I
actual
did.
verification.
But did he say he was Aesir?
That
said he
was
was
the
Aesir.
option he chose.
Yeah.
No,
and the
he did
computer-
not.
He said no.
Oh.
I thought initially he said yes, and then
He was asked later and he said no.
right.
Because
said
first
no.
he said,
That was
"Are
what-
you Aesir Vanir?" He said Aesir, and then later he was
Right.
asked directly, "Are you Aesir?" And he said no.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was when everything kind of started ramping up.
Security protocols activated.
So he said no.
But he was already.
He was heard-
I don't
right.
think that as far as the computer activating a latent gene, he was already in pain before that happened. So there was already a reaction that was taking place.
Yes.
Not saying that it wasn't the gene activating. I'm just saying it wasn't necessarily done with any sort of intent
Right.
by this system. But he did answer. He answered the code incorrectly.
Are there any additional questions you want to ask before we proceed with testing?
I'm just concerned about what might happen if we do activate this thing and it's looking for,
A full body?
basically, if it reads the information that it needs to recognize that he's here and then he doesn't answer.
Agree. Is there anything with engineering and medical that we can do to essentially create a holographic replication
Well-
based on these samples?
Actually, we have a Walter.
If Walter is currently puking his brains out, there are another. The process isn't over yet. If we put him through it again,
I'm
before
not
it's complete-
suggesting we send him there. I'm just saying we have a channel open. If you're looking
That's also true.
if you're looking for a body, that we can't help you with. If you're looking for a voice,
We have a sample and a voice.
Will
Is
any
there
of this
some-
work if the crystal's not aligned?
Well, I would like to try it without the crystal being aligned first, and then we get to discuss whether to try it with the crystal aligned.
Is there any way that we can create some kind of holographic representation using his voice piped in through our open channel and the samples that we currently have to approximate something that could possibly fool these computer sensors?
I think it will be looking for.
Can we try it?
We can try it. I don't think it'll fool the system, but we could try it.
Okay, so let's plan.
we make a Frankenwalter.
Frankenwalter. Were you
No, a
gonna
hollow Walter.
A hollow Walter.
Yeah.
The
No,
samples-
Frankenwalter.
Yeah.
No, currently you're the
Yes.
Franken Walter. This is the hollow Walter.
Agree.
Because we don't have the portable holographic
No, you don't.
technology.
No.
Beam it down. Beam it down.
So are you bringing the samples down?
Yeah, the samples are basically here in a box.
Sample. Okay.
They just
Yeah,
haven't
but
been-
you didn't want them opened up. So
Yeah.
you're opening up the samples. The samples opened up have 0 reaction.
Okay.
Okay.
Now what?
Beam us down some tech to make a hollow Walter.
We don't have portable holographic technology.
Right, it's not that you don't have it on the planet.
Oh, it
It's
just
just
does
So we
not
don't have
exist.
access
doesn't
to them
exist.
Okay, we're
I
role
think-
playing Star Trek and that stuff don't
We are
exist.
pre-Voyager.
That's
Well-
right. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That was distant future technology on Voyager.
Maybe if Ramirez had installed the.
I
Nope.
promise you.
Nope.
Oh my
Do
god,
not finish that sentence.
was it the Ochoa?
The whole time.
All right, all right.
All right. So let's plan.
I don't think we're going to get any reaction down there until the crystal's back in place. It was essentially the battery that was powering it, as far as we could tell.
All right, we turn to the hearth folk and ask them if they are amenable to us trying to reset the crystal into alignment.
Perhaps. Are we ready for that?
Did we
We need to transport the fragment off.
in any of our sensor readings were we able to determine the size of the field,
Oh, the dampening
the
field.
dampening field?
Um,
I keep trying to say displacement field, and I always know it's wrong.
you haven't really looked at it, but you would be able to figure out just what you have. I mean, it is a significant amount of size. Obviously, you guys were in a wide orbit on the planet whenever it hit the Mazu in the first place, so it is significantly farther than that. If you were to put it in solar system terms, say the distance between Earth and Mars.
Okay, that's a big
It's a
old.
big old bubble.
I would strongly recommend moving the Mazu out of range.
I would require, and if there is a time issue on these experiments, I understand, but I think given the risk and not knowing the range of the field, it may behoove us to wait until Neumann has completed undergoing what he's undergoing before we activate anything down there. If it seeks him out, if it affects him, and if it comes and hits the ship in some way, looking for him or trying to do something with him, since we're using his cell samples, we're talking about using his voice print to interact and interface with this computer. If it comes looking for him and he's still undergoing this, I don't think he's strong enough to survive it.
All the more reason to move the Mazu out of range.
Do we know the range though? That's
Yeah, it's just a big range. We've got a pretty good idea.
It seems unfair to protect the Mazu at the risk, while keeping Hearth open to the risk of whatever is going to happen.
They would have to be okay with it as well.
Of course, but
I agree with the technician. Is there a reason that we need to do this right now?
I mean, part of the idea is that if the Mazu is out of range and unaffected, then the Mazu can help restore power to the hearth. if
Certainly,
the damage
and-
hits again.
but at the risk of Commander Neumann continuing to deteriorate or evolve.
If we can at least wait until he's undergone that, we may have a greater understanding once we see what he's
Can we-
become.
All of the understanding that I have been seeking in terms of finding out how these things are related has been in an effort to stop whatever is happening to him. It was done against his will. This is not something that he wanted to happen. I don't think it's in his best interest or something he would want to see to its logical conclusion.
If he's awake, he should be in on this conversation.
Agreed. How's that open channel working?
I mean, we're in sickbay.
He hasn't been privy to it, but you can dial him in if you'd like.
All right. Commander Neumann, we're doing everything in our power to try to understand the relationship between your physiology, the hearth, the Great Hall, and the crystal. And we're having... Our primary goal is to figure out what is happening to you and to try to stop it or reverse it. Is there anything that you can remember from your upbringing or your history? The people of Hearth and even your parents whom we've contacted have not been either knowledgeable or forthcoming about this historical, traditional, mythological lore and what we could be experiencing or what you have experienced already. Do you have any insights or information? And can you confirm that stopping what is happening to you is a priority for you?
I do want to stop what's happening, if possible. But it seems like this, not that this was meant to happen in some mystical destiny way, but that someone set me up and hoped that this would be the result. Is there anything in my history that would relate to this? Anything I could think of from...
How privy are you to the inner workings of the group?
I mean, it's a pretty hefty part of the upbringing, but I
Right.
rejected it.
Then you probably wouldn't have some of the knowledge that you would want.
Right? Because if I just stuck with it longer, I'd know more.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
Is there anyone you can think of that we can contact that might have more knowledge?
Who was behind the tattooing and would know why that particular ink was selected?
All of us are tattooed. All of us. It wasn't... I don't believe I was singled out in any way.
But
So
I
what-
mean, there was some sort of religious leader involved in this in the process, though. Yes.
So a religious leader and a faction taking over yet another member of the crew. Am I alone in seeing this connection being
Not at
drawn
all.
here? I'm so sorry, Commander Neumann. Unfortunately, I can empathize to a degree with what you're going through. Unique as it is to your situation, as mine was unique to my own.
Well, and Newman's connection to my pet mystery from 30 plus years ago.
That does make this unique.
The coincidence is uncanny.
Almost as if it had been orchestrated.
And that we would be uniquely selected to pursue people engaged in a project that uses a similar, if not the exact same, power source as we're now encountering.
Before we fall too far down that particular rabbit hole,
You're right. I'm sorry.
there is the immediate.
Well, what do you
Concern.
need from me? I don't know if I have the information that you require. There are religious leaders in the community, but I don't know if they'd speak of me. My rejection of their beliefs was
But your treatment was no different than anyone else within your sect.
not that I know of. We were all tattooed. It's a relatively painless process.
What was the supposed purpose of the tattooing? Just remembering heritage?
That and that the symbols would transmit knowledge, power, but it was all symbolic, or so I believed.
Or
I think we're
Well-
facing a very literal translation of that particular
Well,
sacred text.
What was it meant to transmit again? Knowledge and power?
And tradition, of course, you know, this to go back the thousands of years to the Vikings and their beliefs.
And
That
perhaps
we were all
that which they
branches
believed
on
in.
the world tree.
Cade, I want you to capture as much medical, neurological data of Cade as he is now before he
Of
gets
Walter.
any. Sorry, of
Sorry, I understood.
Yeah.
get as much of that as you can.
We're constantly scanning everything as we go, and I'll have comprehensive records.
the computer, the voice mentioned the world tree.
Yes, it's a important part of Norse mythology.
Important in what way?
Well, the tree binds the 9 realms together. And traveling upon the tree allows... I believe the metaphor for the hearth is based on what we know about how the universe works, is likely wormholes or some other form of transmitting or transporting over large distances in a short amount of time. Maybe what we thought of as, or the Vikings thought of as gods, were merely ancient spacefaring travelers who have seeded the universe with locations like the Kindred.
Of course, and there's certainly a precedent with that in other cultures as well. As I'm
Certainly.
sure Cade knows. Please don't overtax yourself. Try to rest, be as comfortable as you possibly can. We'll continue to work on this on our side.
Captain, if you fail to stop what's happening to me, I will not blame you. This is none of our faults.
Well, it's someone's fault.
Yeah, no one here.
Just wish we could do more.
What's done is done, and what happens, happens.
I admire your resolve, but I'm not ready to give up this fight yet.
I must rest.
Yes, please do. Do we have any experts on Kindred, history, lore? That have
You're able to get
provided-
someone down that's ready to answer questions. Yes, Captain, may I help you?
What can you tell us about the history and tradition and mythology of what you know of the people who, the ancient ones that had come here, that could possibly have anything to do with the symbols that we're seeing, the connections to crystals? We have a crew member who is undergoing a radical transformation at this moment based on what occurred here in the hall, and we need any kind of information or lead to stop it.
Captain, we're asking a lot about mythology. Have we asked about hearth technology?
No. Perhaps our engineer can...
I mean, my understanding was that no one currently alive on Hearth understands this technology. Is that correct?
That would be correct, yes.
Is it in line, and this is completely new?
Their civilization fell
pre-warp.
and the information was lost.
Oh, you're not talking about current, I'm talking about ancient, though. Was there...
Are you saying, is there a connection between the current hearth technology and how it relates to what you're seeing beneath the Kindred at this point?
Can't tell if you're making that face because you don't want to tell us yet, or because you haven't decided yet.
I'm trying to decide the best way to handle that. Let's say that it's...
Sammy knows a good question.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Let's say that their scientists have not had enough time to really delve into the crystal.
So they have not reached the technology that ancient hearth
Oh no.
We're
was
not
at.
even close.
Yeah.
No.
Because this technology is beyond the Federation's brightest
But I mean,
minds.
even that they knew, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is not.
Yeah.
This is not something that they, as far as their mythology is concerned, the old ones, the ancient hearth, traveled the stars. But was it by starships? No, it was riding a horse kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
Or
know.
was it
Or was it?
through tiny
Were
rooms
there
Space horses. Space horses.
under a hall?
Maybe it was.
now that I'm speaking to an expert on that, do you know of any other worlds that the Hearth were supposedly went to, even just the names within legend?
No.
All right.
There were no names of legends.
Just that they were out there in the world.
They were out there until they were scattered.
And this world has just always been known as Hearth.
Yes.
What was the name of the stone on the system? It was
What?
The sun in the system, the star? The
It was
sun?
Stelladon.
Huh?
It was Stelladon. It's the same system. Like, the star was named Stelladon. It's a Stelladon system.
Okay.
It's a Stelladon 4.
Okay.
And Kate, there's no gene inhibitor therapy that could be given to Neumann to, since we know that this is.
Is there anything I know about in that regard that?
You don't know a lot about gene therapy. You know how
Right.
it works, so you can figure it out. Give me a reason and medicine check.
Difficulty.
Let's go difficulty 1, actually.
Okay.
Assist?
Yeah, why not?
1 success.
2 successes.
Hey, so get a couple more in there. You do
2?
know that 2 more. You do know that genetic therapy could work in theory. It's normally not in something that is at this pace.
Right.
The rate of cellular activity would probably outpace anything that
Right,
genetic
that's what I
therapy would
figured.
do.
At this rate of transformation, I think even when he was in stasis, it wouldn't have been able to take effect on his cells actively if we did introduce it to him in stasis and out of stasis. It's just going to outpace anything that we currently have access to. I mean, maybe once the transformation is complete, we could see about some kind of retrovirus to transform him back, but that's beyond my ken. I can study up on it and confer with some colleagues, but right now it's a good idea. Just we don't have the tech for it.
The system was named Jor.
Oh, you're talking about this system.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the Stelladon.
No,
No,
the
no.
system.
The system here is named Jor, yeah.
Okay. Is that a Hearth name? Does that come from Hearth stories?
Yeah, it's the Hearth name, they just call it.
Is the moon Morgunder?
The moon is Hearth.
Oh,
You're on the moon.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. I was just like trying to think of
Or is it?
what.
Let's play golf.
Out of character, I am
I know.
out
So
of
I'm trying to
ideas
figure out
and
what's
super
the
tie-tie.
Yeah.
what's the plan. Are we going to do something?
If you want us to take it out of range, I mean, I've voiced my concerns, but that's
Newman?
ultimately your decision.
Yes.
What we're contemplating is basically plugging the machine back in. We want to put the crystal back in. And the question is basically, do you want to be inside the field area or outside of it when that happens?
What purpose would it serve?
It might complete whatever we disrupted.
Perhaps if we are able to activate that sequence and answer the questions differently, perhaps it may stop your transformation, stop your pain. It could also make it worse. We don't know.
I'll do whatever you say.
Would strongly advise if we're turning it back on that we take him out of the known range. But
It's your call, Captain.
I will honor your orders.
We'll keep the channel open so that your voice print signature comes in loud and clear. Any activation that's already happened has happened, and testing has yielded no discernible reaction due to proximity. So take the ship out of orbit.
Will we be able to keep, will that still be in communication? Yeah.
It's
Be in communication
subspace.
range.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't got hollow technology, but we got a fat messaging band.
Oh yeah.
we got sound tech, yo.
In the ship, I would like to make sure that the crystal that's in the cargo bay, I want that airlock up, and I want somebody ready to dump it.
Ready just
Yep.
in case.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm facing the dock towards,
Please keep sensors
so it
on
doesn't
that.
rip back through. The
Okay. So you want to realign the crystal.
Definitely need to check with
Yeah,
The
with
Hearth
Godia
folks.
and
I can
let them know. They've
only
already.
recommend kicking it.
We were able to shoulder check it pretty effectively.
We're also not able to get into that case, right? Like
No.
it's inside a casing.
That casing has been pretty darn
Okay.
solid.
Just gonna have to jostle it
Like,
Back the
tilt it.
other way.
Turn it off and turn
with
it
your
on again,
legs.
right?
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
It's essentially what we're doing.
That is what we're
Yeah.
doing. So we're apprising Godia of our plan, requesting or advising that they take proper precautions. This is unpredictable. We don't know what to expect.
And we are taking the Mazu out of range so that it should be available to render aid.
Yeah, should anything happen.
Captain, forgive me, but if the dampening field is up, how would the Mazu be able to approach to help?
We would have to get the field back down again. We would have to disrupt it again.
I see. And you all feel that is safe?
We don't know what it's going to do, but at this point, every other avenue of inquiry has yielded no results. None at all. Whether scientific or through fable and literature. We need to know more, and you need to know more.
Well, there are many people within Hearth now who see this as the future of our people and are very excited about the potential. And we have already discussed realigning the crystal, and absolutely
Then we do this together.
do it together. Let's cut through a lot. There's a lot of preparation done. You have both teams there. You realize what needs to happen to get it in place. There's no good mechanism to get it in place other than just
Gotta kind of
brute
knock it out.
force.
Kick it.
Is there like a hand tractor beam you can like?
No, we gotta have a zero power method because to get it turned back off again, we won't if the dampening field's up.
Well, getting
we
it back
can't.
in with power, but like then knocking it back with brute
That's
force
true.
if you needed
It
to.
needs to be precise one way, but not necessarily the other.
Do you need us to specify how we are actually placing it back in place?
You're probably gonna have to roll for it.
I'm happy to roll for it, but do we need to like
Well, we
spend?
I would like to know briefly
Okay.
what you're gonna do, Captain. You got two options: brute force it, or try to use some type of modified tractor device.
Why not both?
I mean, can
We'll
a
throw
tractor
the
device
tractor
even
device
get
at
through
it.
the casing?
No, I meant like
We
half
can try
and
that
half.
first. And
Yeah, we can
check
try
it
a tractor device, a
one,
modified
step
tractor
two.
thing
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Is that what's gonna happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Starting with the tractor.
Yes.
Do we
Okay.
have 3 big dudes ready on standby to knock it back over?
We have a Vulcan who's super strong.
She's
The
not.
Vulcan's
Oh,
super
well,
strong.
we've got the Vulcan. We don't have.
But Vulcans are super
More
strong.
right. Vulcans
Right.
are super
Vulcans.
strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have one
All
super
right.
strong person.
Yeah.
And the Hearth people are like, what?
Like
That's
super,
what I'm saying. Just like, do we have 3 strong hearth
maybe
dudes
strong
ready
enough.
to? Yeah. No, that's what I mean. That's literally all I meant. Was do we have a couple people ready to?
They could be strong hearth women.
yeah.
Whatever.
Hey, I'm pretty sure she was doing most of the heavy lifting the last time we knocked it out.
Like
so-
I
Control and engineering check.
Kick it.
For whom?
Who wants to do it?
Kick it good.
Control and engineering,
Control and
huh?
engineering.
That's a 13 for me.
15.
Now,
Okay.
metagamers.
I'm 15.
Yeah.
Meta freaking gamers. I should have
Mine is
just
also
made somebody do it.
Yeah.
I should have just made somebody do it.
I was going to volunteer anyway.
Well, I like that plan.
You want to volunteer? There you go. Check, you're
Yeah.
on it.
Rock
you
it.
can do
Anything
it.
with seems a control.
Yeah, I was gonna.
thing.
Honestly, I was kind of up for.
Difficulty
For tractoring,
of difficulty
yeah.
of 2.
Oh yeah, especially with the tractor device. Yeah.
By die.
Oh,
Yeah.
I die. Yeah. And can we
Control and
assist?
engineering.
Can I assist? Helping with aiming and trajectories
We
and
do have
such.
2 tractor beam things.
Wait, what? What's the question? I'm sorry.
Can I assist?
Yes.
All right.
Well, control,
Alrighty.
Okay, 15. 3 successes.
1 success. So that's 4.
4
total.
successes.
4 total? All right. You're able to very carefully manipulate a tractor beam, and it takes a lot of fine-tuning. You have to adjust frequencies to make it work and actually get a hold of that through this casing.
So what was the difficulty?
Difficulty was 1.
Oh, sweet.
You're able to get it through there enough so that you're able to grasp the crystal enough to pull it up into what looks like position. Once it gets into position, it does center itself and pretty much stay in place. You do notice that it appears to now be cracked. There are little rivulets of light that go through it. It looks like that there is some energy going through it, but it is cracked at some point. And you hear just this staticky noise fill up the space, and what sounds like the voice, "Welcome, Gig." And on that, we're going to call it a night. All right, guys.
Okay.
But
So
tune
many
in
things
next time.
Okay.
So many things happening. So, a lot happened. More is going to happen next week.
So much information.
I know there was a lot of information.
It's true.
Some of it even related to the mission.
Is Walter gonna make it?
When this is over, we're gonna go back and look at this one and laugh real hard at all of the little wrong paths. That we
Oh yeah, so many little wrong paths.
That's the scientific method.
It's true.
Yeah, that's also why it's 10:45. So we're gonna get out of here,
Yup.
and we'll be
Epic
back.
episode.
We'll be back next week.
Oh, I have to get up to catch a plane in the morning.
Oh boy.
I haven't packed yet.
Oh boy.
Yep,
So
same.
we're gonna get out of here and carry on. We're gonna see all of you next time. Hey, everybody that's in chat and everything, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Make sure you take the time to share it with all your friends and come back next time and see us.